Oh, hi everybody. I did that for the like fifth, sixth time since I started doing this shit like half a year ago. Oh my god, so crazy. Okay, so it looks like let me see. Mute. Look at all the messages. Mute. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you to everybody. Um, thank you for dropping by, Mr. Radjack, Vivian, Mr. Easy Go Lucky, Marcus, the quadruple hearts. He's loving Hart. I'm sure Hart can hear. You can't see him, but he can hear this. So he's appreciating that, Marcus. I'm sure. Mr. Easy Lucky says hello to Marcus. Marcus says hello to Easy. Okay. There you, Mr. Radjack. So you are here. There you go. Okay, very good. Jason, my buddy Jason, Ladwig. Evening to you, sir. And who do we else? Jason, Marcus, Easy Go Lucky. Now you're saying meow for some reason. I'm not getting that one. But hey, there's Mike. Got here a few seconds late. You didn't miss anything. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good, man. So first, let me say I'd like to wish everyone who celebrates a very, very happy Hanukkah. That begins tonight. And unlike the one day of Christmas you get 8 crazy nights. Little blast from the past there. Maki Poo Poo, what is up, man? Hey, and it's ME Comics. It's going very well, sir. Going very well. Good to see you again, sir. I hope it's going well with you as well. And let us say hello to my guest tonight, my pal, Hart. Let me bring him in right away. You guys have already seen him a few times on my show. Hey, Hart, what's up, bud?
Oh, sorry. Just a joke.
That was pretty good, actually. It looked up.
Everybody, how's going? Just being a smartass.
Mr. Radjack, I am not going to sing. I am definitely not going to sing. I just wanted to give you that little sample of that little classic ditty. I mean, I could do the Hanukkah song. I'm sure I remembered most of it. What's up, JC?
Dreidel?
No. The Adam Sandler Hanukkah song.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. You know that one from Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah, I saw it long.
Yeah, ages ago. Yeah, it's a classic. There you go. See, Marcus, have a happy Hanukkah. There you go. So Emmy knows what I'm talking about, and so does Mr. Easy Go Lucky. There you go. You all go. So you guys all know Hart. He was my co-host, if you will, on 3 consecutive eps of Comic Art Show and Tell. So he was nice enough to want to come by with me again, and this time to do a one-on-one and let you guys know a little bit more about him. But generally speaking, like most of my one-on-ones and round tables, it'll hopefully be more about just chatting like we always kind of do, shoot the shit, shoot the breeze, about the hobby in general, but of course including some of Hart's. From the perspective of some of Hart's experiences as well, that gives us more fodder for the potential rumor mill. I think
Yeah.
And oh, look at this! I got to post this one up. What my wife is saying. She loves your hair color, Hart. You don't got your glasses on tonight. You're having trouble seeing.
No, I don't. The glasses are somewhere away. I forget. Anyway, but I was going to think about a blast of the past is I'm Pinky, you're the brain.
Nice one. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else thinks that's fun, all that funny, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
Well, what are we going to do tonight? We're going to take over the world, right?
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, look who's back! Oh, look at that! I'm excited. Stanley's back. He hasn't been by in a couple of weeks. Now he's excited because you're back. He thinks you're very funny. Look at that. Look at that.
Funny looking. Yes. Funny looking every time.
And Jason, my friend Jason, wants to know, look, first question of the night. What is that behind you?
Oh, this is my son's mural for one of his theater arts program paintings that he did for the background of some school event. It was for college. So since I don't have a nice room to have my art all over the place or comics showing, I figured this is it. So this is what you got.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool.
So
it's a pretty cool backdrop.
It's from the Adventureland from Disney. So if you see the whole thing, it's got a full tiki, some parrots, very festive for the Christmas season or Hanukkah season.
For the Hanukkah so far, for the next 8 crazy nights.
Hanukkah.
CJ, lovely to see you again. You're going to be stepping in and out because you have a rib wrap. You broke your ribs. Oh, sorry to hear that, man. Oh, that's never fun. Wow. Okay. Did you wipe out on the snow or ice or something? Is that how it happened? Because that sucks. But wow, sorry.
I think it's more like somebody slapped him. Probably his wife. No, just kidding. Sorry, CJ.
You shouldn't have said that. Look, he just says, "I dig the tiki."
I know. He's being nice. I'm being myself. So if I've come off as an a-hole, sorry.
Okay, so which Paul are you? This is Paul, period. This is definitely not my Paulie P.
Paul from England.
Is Paul from who?
England. He might be an old friend of mine that I've...
Paul, period?
If it's the same Paul.
From England? Okay, Paul, period, let us know. And look at that. Everybody's saying the tiki room. Exactly. Don't sleep on Kwanzaa. Yeah. Well, happy Kwanzaa. Is there anybody who...
I do have a drink.
Hey, I got my water here. Hey. Cheers. L'chaim.
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 Not water.
I'm not sure anybody here. Does anybody here celebrate Kwanzaa? If so, I've yet to meet someone. I've never had a friend who celebrated Kwanzaa, and that includes African.
It is American,
African Canadian friends, and yeah. So I don't know. I'd never heard of it until, I don't know, a decade ago or 15 years ago. Was it just invented, or was this something that really always existed? I don't know. I've heard people say, "Oh, that's just like they refer to it as, oh, it's a fake holiday or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, was it just made up or something?" I don't know. So I don't know what it is. So I sometimes will say, Happy Kwanzaa to everybody, whatever. Once I'm wishing the happy Christmas and the happy Hanukkahs, but I still would like to know if it's real or not. I just don't know anybody who celebrates it. So if it's real,
don't know. But I want to do a Happy Booze Day.
Happy Booze Day.
That's just me. Happy Booze Day.
Oh, Marky V from last week. How's it going, man? He loves the colorful black background. Everybody's loving your background.
I'll tell that to my son. My son will dig that.
Yeah, tell him. So CJ is telling us that ice going into physical therapy. Ice going into physical. You wiped out on ice? Is that what you're saying? And you're taking physical. Oh, you were on your way to physical therapy, and you wiped out on ice? Oh my God, irony. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Holy crap! So sorry to hear that, man. Wow. I hope it's not too bad. Get well soon. Hopefully it's not for too long. Yep. Okay. So Paul, period, is your Paul. Your Paul. Okay. From the UK, from England, did you say?
Well, he's in San Francisco, if I recall correctly, but he is UK Englishman. So, he and I used to be in San Diego a couple times, I think.
Oh, nice. Okay. And hey, do you know? Good evening. Oh, you're visiting. Are you visiting with Jordan again? I have a feeling you're visiting with Jordan. I don't know. Are you probably with the family? Maybe it seems a little early to be doing the Christmas holiday thing, but maybe it's a work thing. I don't know. But let me know. I'm sure if it's not about seeing Jordan, I'm sure you'll probably make the time to see Jordan anyways. That's my feeling. But let me know if I'm right or wrong. And yes, okay, so it was ice. Yeah. Oh, sorry, man. I hope you feel better soon. Anyhow, now you got 2 reasons to go to physiotherapy. Ugh. Neil, what's up? That's Hart. That's Hart. Yeah, Neil. He's been on like the other times. You missed those, I guess. And who else is here? Oh, there's people trickling in. Hey, David in Australia. Good morning to you, sir. And happy Hanukkah if you celebrate in Oz. And I hope you're doing well. And hello. Thanks to everybody. Hey. Dino says vacation. Oh, so it is a vacation. Okay, earlier than I would have expected. Okay, Jordan's on a cruise. Interesting. And you're going to be connecting on the 20th. Okay, that's in 2 days. Wow. Oh, I figured you guys you'd connect. That's cool. Very good. Good to hear that, man. And yes, as David says, happy Hanukkah to all. And CJ, great background. Another tiki loving background loving viewer here, Hart. You're
CJ just did a tiki bar painting. He says.
Oh, let me see. Mark says, hold on. Dino, he's talking to Dino. Oh, the sex people are back. Oh, you're very welcome, David. You're very welcome. The sex people are back. Here, let me I gotta get rid of these people here.
Can you keep them for me, please?
I'll send them over to your house after.
I gotta pay.
All right. So here we go, everybody. Once again, thank you all for tuning in as always. I very, very much appreciate it. I can't thank you enough. It's been quite a wild 5.5 months since I started this whole thingamajig, and I really appreciate all the love and support that especially you regulars who keep tuning in come and give. So that's peace. I mean, that's all I can say to you. So thank you tremendously. It means a lot. So let us get on with the show. Why don't we? We as I always say, we come in here and I think of all my shows as kind of like chat with not only the whoever's in studio with me, but chat with all my friends here, all you guys in the live chat. And so that's why I never pre-plan anything. I don't typically pre-plan topics unless roundtables, the guys want to speak about something in particular, then I'll come up or I'll come up with an interesting idea that we want to talk about. But generally the one-on-ones, nothing's ever planned out. So we figured we'd just wing it and just sort of, let us see where the night goes organically. But as I always like to do, I'd like to obviously first let my friends in the chat get to know you a little bit better than the constant jokester than you have proven yourself to always be when you're in the chat and when you've been on air here. Yeah, man, because you like myself, you've been around in the hobby for quite a long time. So maybe just give us a little background, give everybody a background on when you got in, how you sort of made that segue from comics to suddenly discovering art, and when you bought your whole piece and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I started out in Germany when I was a kid and bought Marvel and DC comics whenever I could. But it's kind of hard to find those kinds of comics because they were sold in supermarkets and specialty magazine sections. So it was just 1 or 2 issues of DC Presents or Batman coming up board. There weren't that many Marvel, actually. Marvel was kind of a low distribution in the German market, which is probably why I'm so much into DC comics. But European comics such as Babar, Donald Duck, Asterix, Obelix, Tintin, Lucky Luke, they all were my growing up comics. And actually, I've got, in case anybody doesn't know what Asterix and Obelix looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm curious. That's a good kind of a good quick segue just to allow me to ask for you guys in the in the live chat. I'm just curious. Are any of you can any of you just type in and let us know if you've never heard, you're not even familiar or ever heard of Asterix. I'm curious about that because I know I also as a child grew up with it, or myself. Yep. Being that I live in a French area of Canada, and of course, so all that European stuff made its way over here, But I always wondered because I've met some of my friends in the United States over the decades, and I was surprised every now and then I would meet them and they would say, "Oh, I did read 10 when I was young, and Asterix, and that would surprise me, because I just kind of thought, again, I thought that I had it simply because I'm in a French part of Canada, right? And it comes from Europe, so that kind of made sense. But I was very surprised to hear that this stuff actually sort of had some sort of inroad into the United States as well. So,
well, let me ask you this, Ruben. How
yeah.
about Babar for you? Did you read Babar, the elephant?
So I didn't do it myself, and I never actually saw the published stuff, but we did. I remember having Babar cartoons.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
that was post comics and all that. But
Right.
Babar was kind of funny because it's about an elephant whose mom gets killed by a hunter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
he goes out to the city to experience the city life, and then he comes back to the jungle, and he becomes king of the jungle because the king gets killed or something like that. I forget, but it's not a very uplifting story. But it was done by a French woman, I think, to her kids, and the husband's the one that wrote it eventually. But
okay.
it started out in France. So, but because Germany and France are so close, distribution was over the top with Babar, Tintin, and Asterix.
Sure.
Yeah, because everybody kind of like gravitated to those comics, because to European market, that was art. Marvel wasn't art.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So Ian says he's never heard of it. Okay, see, that's kind of more what I would have expected from Americans. Mark says heard of it, never read it. Okay, but at least you've heard of it. Okay, so it still surprises me that more Americans have been, have had some sort of familiarity with it, no matter how small. At least you've heard of it. Where I would have thought Americans would not have had that stuff, or at least most of you guys.
Well, I would recommend to Ian to pick up one of the omnibuses, like from Asterix and Obelix. Simple, it's pretty cheap on Amazon, and it's fun read. I mean, it's comedy, a little bit of history because it has to do with Julius Caesar era and his domination of Europe in general. So it's funny.
Yeah, and Maki Poo Poo says it's great, so he's very familiar with it, clearly. And Mickey says he's even got several Asterix albums, so that's cool.
Yeah.
David in Australia used to read that and Tintin from the local library here in Oz. Yeah, I mean, that's where I used to read it too. Like, so we didn't have it at home. I'd just go to the public library, and they had all of them there. You'd read them there,
Yeah.
So, okay, so
I did see that Mike NSN Art said that he's got a LeMay story with Asterix. And I know what story he's talking about, but it's not for the general public, or at least not for kids.
It's not for tonight's human consumption. Okay.
No.
Okay.
The adults have to be around.
I got you. Okay. And JC remembers it vaguely only after I collected the original. Wow. Okay. And Ian is asking, is that Sergio? Oh, no. Uderzo? I forget the first name. Last name Uderzo?
It's Uderzo and Coscini.
Okay.
Cosini.
Yeah. If you want to find anything out about it, Ian, it's best to just, Asterix, Google it or whatever, and you'll find out what you know about it.
This one that I've got is an omnibus, so it's got the first 5 albums or issues.
Show it so we can just get a good look at get the spelling and Asterix. Aster. It's like an asteroid. Asterix. Yep. So there you go.
Just get the omnibus one. That'll be it. There you go.
Cool. All right. So continue your story. Sorry for the interruption.
All right. No. It's okay. Other books were like Lucky Luke. Anybody knows Lucky Luke is a Western-inspired U.S. Western gunslinger that has a horse, a trigger or something like that. I forget that. No, it's called Jolly Jumper, which is weird. So he just goes around fighting crime, or at least or bandits. And one of the group is made up of the Dalton brothers, which is based on the Dalton gang.
Oh,
but they're all like one's like a midget, or excuse me, small person,
A small
and
person,
then
little
it
person.
gets little person. So it's a very tiny person, the oldest brother, and then he gets, as the brothers get taller, they get dumber.
Nice.
So so yeah, it's comedy at its best, right? And then one of the biggest influences in um, probably mainstream U.S. comics was this one here, is Donald Duck,
Oh
for
yeah.
me, in Germany,
I
because
mean,
it's really popular.
yeah, huge, huge, huge in Europe in general. But yes, Germans absolutely love Karl
Yeah.
Barth, especially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was one of those things that I do remember just reading all the time. Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge, his nephews, all that stuff, and I would redraw Donald Duck over and over again, and it would be really, something of a, with crayons or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. But in Germany, one of my favorite comics was a weird comic. I'll explain a little. It's called here.
You got it all prepped.
Yeah, I do. Yips or Ips. YPS.
YPS. Okay.
Okay. It's mainly educational gag comic strips and just funny bits to it. But the main draw was every issue was bagged with a toy or something. And if you look at this one's bagged with a switchblade.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
but it's a stuntman switchblade.
Oh, really? Like one of those Hollywood
Really?
style.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
cool.
you got to remember, this is a different age, because one of the other things that I had was a squirt gun in the shape of a Bic lighter.
Oh,
So it encouraged smoking.
yeah, of course.
Of
Well, you
course,
guys, you guys. I'm assuming in the United States, you guys are you familiar with this confectionery candy called Popeye cigarettes? Oh, maybe not. Maybe that was a Canadian thing.
I
Okay.
think it's like candy cigarettes, right?
Like it was just this. I don't even know what it was made. I guess it's just hardened sugar, but these white sticks,
Yes.
about like
Yep.
the length of a toothpick. They were colored
Yeah.
red right at the end, so
Right.
that it looked like
They have those here. They used to
Okay.
have them here in the United States. But when I
But
was a little kid in Germany.
But were they connected to Popeye? Because it was literally called Popeyes, and they had a picture of Popeye because I guess he smoked a pipe for whatever reason.
No, for Germany, it wasn't that. It was just like it had an Indian or some Western motif, because Germans loved Westerns and anything related with gunslingers and,
Powdered sugar.
Indians and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the smoking bit was the big thing. I mean, Marlboro Man, it's the quintessential man's man,
Yeah.
But he died of cancer, I think, right?
But by the way, without going into a huge long diatribe, if it's possible, and again, not to want to cut off your story, but I don't want to miss it. CJ is asking why can you explain why do they love Donald so much?
I think it's the adventures that for me, it was the adventures that they were doing, and some of the adventures were Finnish based or mythology based, and then finding gold and going to Peru. So there's a lot of correlation between Tintin and Donald Duck, because Tintin was a Belgium reporter who goes on these wild escapades with his friends, his Professor Calculus and Captain Haddock or Hadrick, who's a chain smoking drunkard all the time, right? My favorite character, of course.
Of course.
So, of course. But it's the adventure that you have with these characters, and you love that. And I think they're ingrained with the children more, because the parents give these to their kids as gifts, right? The books. So it's not like as if I'm a 10-year-old kid. I go down to the 7-Eleven and grab a comic book off the shelf, and I would go back home. These would be given by grandmothers to their grandsons or granddaughters. It would be a family kind of event. So it's not like I would have to pick it out. It's somebody else picked it out because they loved me or their family member enough to give them something to read. Plus, I learned a lot of English as well as German through those just watching the letters and
Right.
mimicking the words after a while. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's that for me. It is, but overall, it's just a family event or a family association.
Right. Right. Okay. And at what point? Let us know at what point you your family made that move to suddenly. Okay, you know what? We're leaving Germany. We're headed to America.
Well, it was, I can tell you, it's 1981, we moved here.
Okay.
We just packed everything.
Would,
Unfortunately, the
would you have been like 12, 13, 14, something like that?
yeah, a little bit, probably 11, 12, 11,
11, 12.
12.
Okay.
Yeah, probably more closer to 11, I think.
Okay.
But we came over here to Orange County, California. Uh, we had vacation previously when we were in Germany to like Kansas City, Florida, and stuff like that. But my folks liked California the best, which is why they
Mhm.
picked it because of the climate, obviously.
Yeah.
So we came around to 81. Let's see. I do remember I would go to 7-Elevens back in 81. If you remember what everybody knows what 7-Eleven is in the United States. Yeah. And just go to spinner rack and grab a few comics and stuff like that. That's when I started like experiencing real Marvel and DC, because one thing I got to mention is in Germany, we would get Marvel and DC like months to a year past of what you guys got or what United States would get.
Right.
So their issue numbers in Germany and their content and the covers were not the same.
Right.
So we would be reading stuff that was happening for US market like 10 years ago, or 3 months ago. It varied.
Right.
Because distribution was very bad. Let's see. I do recall when I was in California here, I would get together with my friends. I had a $5 a week allowance. Okay. My dad would give me that.
Wait a second. At what age? At 11-ish, you had a $5
11.
allowance?
Yes.
Man, you had it good.
Yeah,
Boy.
yeah, I did. Well, this is exactly what I did. Is I would on the weekends all the kids from the neighborhood get together. We jump on our BMX bikes. Mine was from Montgomery Ward. I remember that. It was the cheapest one my folks could buy. We would drive or ride back down to the local arcade, play video games for an hour or so, then ride the other direction to the 7-Eleven, grab some Slurpee. Mine was Coke Slurpee,
Yeah.
and then just grab a bunch of 50-cent comics, because back then it was 50 cents, right? So it was just, or 45 in that range. And, you made out like a bandit at $5 a week.
I'll
Yeah.
say. I mean, that would have been like a dream for me to be fed a fin every week, like week upon week. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a
Well,
dream that would have been. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way,
well,
Caesar, I know you, since you don't have your glasses, Caesar is saying, a local SoCal collector.
yes. Yes.
So there you go. Yeah.
I'm more down in Southern California, where like I'm not in San Diego. I'm between San Diego.
Why don't you just give the city name or the town name?
Orange County is Mission Viejo.
Mission
If that
Viejo.
makes sense, Caesar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
Ian said he used to live in Alicio Viejo. Is that nearby?
Yeah, that's close by. That's like maybe 15 minutes away from where I'm at.
Okay.
So yeah. Actually, there's a few other collectors that are here in my region, like Mark Levy.
Yeah.
Levy.
And he
And
told me it was Levy. Remember, I asked him once.
Levy. Yeah.
And he said,
Well,
Levy. Yeah.
he never fixes my mistakes. Okay.
There you go. That's fine.
Yeah. There's also John Sisson, who's the big Dark to Strange collector.
Never met him, but I know him by name. Yeah.
Yeah. John, myself, and Mark and a couple other guys, and I think John Mancuda, we got together over here. I started a little like OC get together at one point. We would all just get together at one of our houses and just look at art. Yeah,
a comic art gathering. Well, I've talked about this just recently.
Yeah.
We did that. We did a I did a roundtable, about the guys in Vegas doing that, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
spoke about. Okay, so interesting. So
So anyway, getting back to the story.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of diverging all over the place, but
That's
that's
cool.
just me. I wasn't very into comics when I was young. I mean, I started getting more into comics when I got into high school. So high school was I got to find some more comics, and I started bagging boarding.
Okay.
So I found I started collecting Comico titles, Elementals, Grendel,
Kamiko.
Mage, Kamiko. Okay, Kamiko. Sorry.
Believe it or not, I know it sounds terrible, but I said Comico my whole life until I found out for a fact it's Kamiko. Like, who the hell is Kamiko? Ugh. Yeah, but anyways.
Well, if you put two E's instead of the I, yeah, I could see that. But it's Kamiko.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you spell it Comico and say it's Kamiko? Ridiculous. Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you remember other titles like Pacific Comics, First Comics. Pacific had Elric, Melnibonian. I don't know. How you said. How do you call it? Elric the.
Elric of Melnibone.
Melbibony. Okay, I always called it Meldabone.
I used to say Meldabone. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that is what it is. I assumed it was Melnibone, but whatever.
Well,
Melnibone, because I believe it has an accent at the end.
Yes, it does have an accent. Yes,
I would think Melnibone. Yeah.
One title I do remember that really inspired me, or at least made me go wow, because it was above and beyond the normal heroes, was John Sable Freelance. Mike Grell.
Loved it.
Oh, I as soon as I started reading like in the 20 issues. So I didn't get it until later. But I was so amazed by Grell's artwork and the story itself, because it wasn't like, here's the person that's going to kill everybody or defeat the person. He actually had a lot of thought to it. And he's like, okay, I got to do the right thing or the prudent thing or things like that. It was just, there was a lot of conflict within. And, that was one of the titles that got me. But another title was Grimjack. But that's all for adventure. Grimjack was my, just let science fiction roll in and be my friend for a little bit.
Yeah.
So from Grimjack, I went to Nexus, Prowler. Then I jumped into Zot, Scott McCloud's book.
Yeah, Zot, I never read it. I used to like looking at it because I enjoyed this sort of simplistic cartooniness of it, but I never read it. How was that?
It was good, in my opinion. It was a guy that was trying to grab a key that's supposedly controls the door at the end of time or something like that. I forget exactly. Somebody else might have a better description, but he just travels to Earth to find the key. And this girl that he narrowly almost hits when he goes through a portal pretty much finds the key, and she becomes embroiled in this adventure with him, and a bully comes along too, and it's just it's a little bit wacky. Everywhere. Yeah, it's wacky, but
very wacky,
I think the story was really well sectioned off. So it did have a really fun. It almost reminded me of Tintin a little bit in that simplicity and that adventure kind of from one place to another kind of situation that happens with Tintin a lot. Another title was from Dark Horse. If you remember Dark Horse, well, everybody remembers Dark Horse now.
They're still around.
Predator and Black Cross. Predator was Chris Warner.
Chris. Oh, I remember from Chris Warner. I remember The American.
Yes, that was that was another title he did. Yeah. I only got one issue because when I got to the store, it was all sold out. So I didn't bother putting a sub on it because I would get into a lot of black and white issues at that time too. I was doing because the black and white market was exploding. Everybody was doing things like Rips, Faust, Trouble with Girls, Femforce. Everybody knows Femforce, even though they don't want to say that they read Femforce, right?
My friend Brian Peck, he doesn't come to my shows, but he loves Femforce because if you go to his calf gallery, it's full of Femforce stuff.
I've
So
got lots of I got a good amount of Femforce, I gotta say. I do love Femforce because it's just as wacky as I like comics to be.
yeah,
And of course the visuals aren't that bad either.
yeah, right. A lot of people
Um,
in the live chat are saying, like Jeff had said, loved Sable. Caesar is saying
yep.
John Sable was great stories and art. And of course, Mark is saying the first comics and Kamiko stable. Yes, it just in general, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that they put out was great. Jeff is also saying that Ostrander on Grimjack with Mandrake's art choice.
Yeah, I agree. That was
Mark,
really nice
stuff. Yeah, Mark is saying, is that supposed to be Nexus? I don't know. It's a
Nexus. Yeah, that is Nexus.
a lightning bolt.
Yep. Steve Rude.
Yeah, and oh yeah, good one, Mark. Oh, Concrete.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved Concrete when it came out. Mark, I used to own the cover to Concrete #2 years ago.
Really? Oh my God.
What, you're getting excited? I'm telling Mark, why are you getting
No,
excited?
I'm getting excited. That would be yeah, okay.
Really? Oh, you really liked it a lot.
Chadwick,
too?
right?
Yeah.
It was Chadwick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit Wayback Machine. What about Boris the Bear?
Okay, so no, I know what it is. My only experience with Boris the Bear was like I had no interest in it. For me, it was I walk into my comic shop one day, I look up at the wall, and I see Boris the Bear #1 for $35 hanging there.
Right.
I'm like, the first thought is, what the fuck is that shit? And why is it $35? That's my second thought, you know? And it kind of got this whole hyped up thing, and the Overstreet was always talking about it, you know, and that was my only sort of exposure to it. It was that hot, you know, independent issue of silliness that was really, really expensive. I could never afford even if I wanted it. So that's all I know about it. You know,
well, I was also to the Tick and Flaming Carrot.
Oh,
okay.
So Flaming Carrot, I read, and I thought it was goofy fun. I enjoyed that.
Right. Yes. It's totally goof.
The Tick, it just never appealed to me. But I knew people that did, and at my store, at my local store, it was very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Tick was like, it had the same kind of. Oh yeah, every time. Oh, I see Fish Police. Fish Police is good too.
See, hold on. Mike is saying he loved a good Concrete piece. Mark is saying always wanted a Concrete cover. Don't feel too bad, Mark. The one that I had, the second issue, I sold it like ages ago. So like, it's not like you ever had a shot at it. Mark is saying that's
way to bring him down.
No, it makes you feel better, right? Because if I would have told him, oh my God, Mark, you know what? I used to have one. I just sold it last week. Then he'd really feel bad, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
But Marcus is pulling up of course, the adolescent black belt hamsters. Yeah,
hamsters. Yeah,
it was
okay.
But yeah, go.
So a little side note for the adolescents. So during high school, I had a bunch of friends in high school. Obviously, everybody had their own clique, right? So these guys would show up one day, and they're in first period or pre-first period, and they're like, "We got this comic. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You should buy it. It's really cool." And I'm like, "That's stupid." I plainly defied them, and I could have had a first print TMNT, right? #1,
right?
So it was one of my.
Would you have had the chance though?
Yes, it could have been like the second printing because they got the first printing and they sold out.
Okay,
and I think that afterwards, one or two of them went and got the second print as well. So you know they knew something I didn't, because I was the idiots with calling a turtle samurai stupid or ninja. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. So that was one of my big mistakes in my collecting history. So one. There's more, of course. I'm sure I'll tell another one.
Just FYI, just real quick. I just want to mention that because you mentioned Tick. Jason is saying that the Tick cartoon was great. He loved that one. And Oh, and here, yeah, Tom says, I love the Tick cartoon, which is interesting because didn't they have this really, really cheesy? Yeah, I'm picturing it in my head now. They had a cheesy television, like a live action Tick show, right?
Yeah, I love that one.
I think
Sorry, I love that one. Yeah.
The actor was that guy, Elaine's
Yeah, the
boyfriend,
guy. Yeah.
Seinfeld or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay. Now, no,
I actually
never.
have the DVD set.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I never saw
Yeah.
the live show, never saw the cartoon, never even read it. So maybe I should try reading it someday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marcus is right. He says that most of those black and whites, a lot of them were trying to emulate TMNT. Of course, TMNT exploded, right? It exploded so fast, and that's when you had the adolescent black belt hamsters, and then after that, it was the preteen Dirty Jean Kung Fu Kangaroos.
Yep.
I can't believe I still remember that title.
There was Fat Ninja. Did you remember Fat Ninja?
I do not remember Fat Ninja.
It's really terrible. Don't even bother with it.
Okay.
Nobody Google that, please.
I do remember Nat Rat, the Dark Nat.
Oh, yes.
Returns.
There was also, I think, Ebon, Ebon, like a raven guy or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Ebon. But one title that I really liked was indulging into was Roach Mill.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes.
I love that one.
It's Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. You know,
Roach Mill. It was first of all, Tom McWeeny.
Yes, McWeeny. Yes,
Tom McWeeny. Oh, I love that guy's the inking. It was like I was like, oh, this is so like Wrightson-ish or whatever. He had this Wrightson-ish approach to it, and
he had a thick line and thick brush.
With brush and it looked kind of like it looked like Aliens, but done by Wright. It was just it was really cool. Really liked it. Yeah. I really enjoyed that.
That was one of my that's one of my guilty pleasures because I don't think it did very well in the numbers games. You know, it was like after third issue the production stopped, so I didn't see number 4, and I'm like, where's that? And the comic shop would be like, I don't know, it's gonna get here eventually. It's like, great.
I get you. Mark is helping us out. Thanks, Mark. Mark is helping us out. He's telling you Ebon is actually spelled. It was EB''NN. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, yeah, that's the one. That is the one.
Okay.
It's like an anthropomorphic raven head guy. I don't remember much about it, but I remember the cover, and I was like, oh, this is cool. It's a raven guy. But other than that, I think it only lasted one issue. I'm not sure because, you know, like everybody's the guys are saying, is like black and white's kind of disappeared after a while, you know, because nothing really gestated after the initial explosion other than Mutant Turtles.
And I have to mention, just because this is like bizarre to me. Good evening, by the way, David. Good to see you. The Cheetah Men were my favorite TMNT knockoff. I've never heard of Cheetah Men.
Cheetah Men. Oh,
is that also
heard of that either?
David, was that also from around like 1986, 87 when all the other knockoffs were coming out? Because never heard of that one. And Jeff wants to let us know that there have been 2 Tick live action shows. And the second one,
I'm talking about the first one.
Okay. Peter Serafinovich. Okay. Don't even know who that is, but interesting. Good. I love the scholarship. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Wow. And I was working part-time at my shop in like 86. So I was seeing tons of that black and white rip-off stuff from, you know, TMNT rip-off. So I thought I'd seen it all, but like Cheetah Man, and like what do you, you know, and Marcus, I put it up before. Marcus said Samurai Penguin. I vaguely feel like it sounds familiar, but then I'm like, maybe it only sounds familiar because we're rattling off all these
words,
lame names, right? Like with ninja styled animals and stuff or whatever. But yeah, I don't.
Mark is saying Sunrunners. Sunrunners was by Pat Broderick, I believe.
Oh,
is that right, Mark?
Oh, no, wasn't that Sun something else? The Pat Broderick thing, wasn't the Pat Broderick thing a DC book, and then Sunrunners
maybe
indie book?
Mark, can you explain?
Yeah, maybe somebody will help us out there. But David is saying, oh, David, it's from the NES game Action 52. Action 52 is called. Okay. I don't know anything about that. Thank you. Okay. All right. So sorry. Look at that. Caesar knows all about it. So he's like, Eben lasted 6 issues. I only remember the Matt Wagner cover. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. Didn't even know it lasted 6 issues.
It's kind of fun stuff because, like I said, I really thought I would have heard of everything. I didn't think there would have been any of those black and whites that I would not have heard of before. But Eben, I'd never heard of before. Wow.
Yeah. 3 more black and whites that I liked was Warlock 5 by Dennis Bouvet.
Denis Bouvet, yeah.
Yeah. And Elf Lord and Samurai by Barry Blair.
Oh, yeah. Those are the Aircell books.
Yeah. The Aircell books, yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the fun ones. I actually had Elf Lord artwork, but I sold it to Mark Levi years ago, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll give it to you." And I was like, "Why did I do that now?"
Okay, so Mark is coming in to help us out here. So yep, you're right. It's Broderick. So then it is Sunrunners, but Mark, was that? The Sunrunners was the independent book. Maybe that's what it is, because now he's telling us too that he also drew Lords of the Ultra Realm, which that I remember.
Right.
That was
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes, but that was DC. That was DC.
And color. That was color.
And color, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I remember. Okay. Hey, this is pretty good stuff. Some good blasts from the past.
Reed Fleming is awesome.
Reed Fleming, the world's toughest milkman. I do remember.
Yes,
I never read it.
Yes.
I never read it, but
it's a fun read. I think it's a great read. I would recommend it to anybody just wanting to have fun with, just enjoy comics the way they should be enjoyed, just by the reading part aspect of it.
Okay.
Pacific. Okay, now I remember it's Pacific. Yeah.
Pacific Comics. Yes. Mark still has the greatest memory for all that stuff. Awesome. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. That's what we need, man. That's why that's why I always say it's a conversation amongst all of us. It's a chat amongst all of us. It's not just me and whoever's on with me, So that's awesome. Okay, cool. All right. We're headed towards the end of our first hour. Let's try to speed this up so we can get to how you ultimately got to artwork,
Sure. Actually, this is, I'll speed it up. So back in college, I had a friend in color theory class. One day he says, "Hey, do you collect comics?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I do." So he goes, "Come out to my car later on tonight, and I got something for you." And insert kidnapping joke here, okay? Right? It wasn't a minivan or a bus or
with the windows all
carpeting. Yeah, exactly. So he takes me out to his VW Beetle. He gives me a stack of X-Men number 1 through 99. And he hands it to me. Yes, number 1 through 99. He gives it to me as a gift.
Jack Kirby?
Yes. All of the runs, the whole
Sorry, who was this? A stranger?
Yeah, it was a friend of mine that I befriended in art class.
Oh, okay.
So I had only known him through art class, and that's it.
Okay,
but I'm sorry that I left.
This is a college-aged kid like you.
This is college, like 87-ish. Okay.
Yeah.
Back in 87. So
Marcus
he just gives it to me.
Marcus wants to know, though, what did you have to do?
Marcus, whatever happens in the VW Beetle stays in the VW Beetle.
Marcus, you can imagine what he probably had to do, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. Marcus, use your imagination. I'm okay with that. So yeah, he just gives it to me. I'm sorry that I lost touch with him, because he was a really nice guy too. It was a great artist too. So I read all of the issue 1 through 99, and I enjoyed it for 3 months. Then I went to a comic shop, and this is my second big mistake.
Oh,
I was, young, stupid kid. And I said, "Hey, you guys want to take this off my hands?" And they go, "Oh yeah, sure." So they gave me around almost $300 worth of credit at the store.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
This was like how long after you had read them? Like right after?
No, like 3 months, 2 to 3 months.
Okay,
yeah,
soon enough.
But soon enough. I mean, I was out of my head, but you got to recall that I was a DC guy, so X-Men wasn't available in Germany as much, and so I just did the stupidest thing. I said, "Yeah, I'll take the $300." And yeah, my next mistake in life.
Yes.
Yeah, Marcus, you can call me an idiot, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So,
now you had $300. At least tell us, only if it's true though, that you did something really good with that $300.
No, I bought like more crappy comics that I ever did.
Oh, good. Okay.
So years later, or a couple of years later, I guess, there's a comic shop that I find that's not the one that I sold the comics to, and this one was a little bit better. He was an honest guy. He wasn't like a cutthroat kind of guy. The guy that I previously had dealt with. His name was David, and David had a comic store that was in Lake Forest, California. It was just called David's Comic Store. That's all.
Okay.
It was somewhere in the corner of a strip mall. I used to buy from him a lot. I started subscriptions. One day he had, I walk in and there's a framed 2 pages of Kerry Gamble Marvel team up, starring Torch and Spider-Man versus Speed Demon. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? You know, I had no idea it was art. Then he explains to me he was just at San Diego Con. I think this was like the 90s. And he said, oh yeah, I just bought it. And I think I paid $50 for the both of them. I'm like, oh, okay. So every time I walk in the store, I'm like staring at the thing. So finally I'm like, hey, would you sell this to me? He goes, let me think about it. Then a couple weeks later, he says yes. And I'm like, oh yeah, great. So I bought those 2 pages. And that was my first art purchase ever.
Do you remember the price?
It was, he charged me $150 for the both.
Okay.
So he was being fair to me. I was like, okay, I'll take it because it was already framed.
Well, I don't know. Oh yeah, okay, but okay,
Yeah.
but fine. But I'm just saying, he probably also thought, well, he didn't own them that long, and he tripled his money. So
yeah. I mean, I personally think David was a very trustworthy person. I mean, I still see him every once in a while at comic shows here and there, and we just chat because we always had a good relationship. But he's the one who started me on my downfall of artwork collecting and all that.
Okay, yeah, let me. I understood. Let me hold you 1 second because Mike wants you to know. He wants everybody to know that 1 stack of X-Men books and you got fucked twice.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much.
I hope you didn't think I was going to let that one pass us by, Mike. No,
I didn't even see it, so
I was waiting for that.
That's great. Thank you very much. And do you want to hear how I got fucked 3 times? No.
What are you saying? What's Marcus saying here? Payment was the art student friends he made along the way. Payment was the
I don't understand.
Friends. So the payment for that was the art. Oh, you mean the friends you made along the way? That was basically that was the payment. That's what you really earned out of getting rid of those books.
Yeah.
Like a big loser.
Yeah. But here's the funny thing is, one of the guys in my life drawing class, he knew Barry Windsor Smith and Jeff Jones, excuse me, the guys from the studio when they were doing that. He was an art student as well, but he had known those 2 guys for years because they were his friends or something like that. So there's a lot of people that were in my life, I guess, that had comic art involvement, I guess.
Okay, Ian, you already heard the story, didn't you, Ian? Now you're asking him where did this all happen in the back of another VW. I see. Nice. Oh,
This is why I hate VW bugs, right? Not only the.
Now you opened yourself up to a whole bunch. These guys are gonna never let you go on that.
That's what he said.
Hey, Gil.
So who's being dirty?
Not I.
Not me. So so anyway,
So
yeah. So
those two pages. Sorry, did you say they were? Did you mention that they were Kerry Gamble pages?
yes, Kerry Gamble.
Okay,
I don't know who inked. I think it's Mike Esposito
probably
or Mike
yeah,
McLaughlin or something like that.
yeah. No, not McLaughlin,
Uh,
but probably Esposito.
oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well,
yeah.
Esposito.
I remember the issue because that was I believe my first team up issue was the one with the Speed Demon. Yeah,
Well, these were consecutive pages, which is great because
yeah.
they just show the whole thing. Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, about 10 years ago, I sold it to Dietmar Kruger, I think his name is,
Oh,
in
Dietmar.
Germany.
Yes,
Dietmar.
Dietmar. Yeah.
Dietmar. I forget. Yeah. So he has them now. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, he contacted me years ago, and he was like, "Hey, are you wanting to sell them?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." They were my first, but you know what? The money was good. I was needing it for a bill or two, and I had to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Just like the old adage of, if you have something and it's worth something, and then you get a bill, it helps to have that, liquid cash.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Hey, listen, you really got the enjoyment out of them for like a long time too.
Yeah.
I mean, decades, right? So
Yeah.
that's you got your money's worth for sure out of those,
Yeah, they were in the frame for years, and then I finally took them out because I think something hit the frame and it cracked. So luckily, it was in the side, not in the art. So that was a lucky strike, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, you sold them off to pay off the van, and that's what Marcus is asking. I think that's
yes, I did.
Excellent. Okay, and so now let me get let's get our bearings for the timeline here.
Okay.
So now, so you right, because you jumped forward to say you sold them.
Yeah, it's 90s. We're talking 95.
No, when you bought them.
Yeah, in the 90s. Yeah.
Okay, so about mid 90s. So it's still first second year of eBay, I guess. But
yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, and so from there, how long does it go before you buy your third page?
Second or third, yeah. That it was
second purchase, third page though.
Yeah, second purchase. I would say about 3 months because I started like wondering. He got it at the show, but I wasn't going to shows at that point, and so I was like, okay, let me go online and see what's there. So I put in original art into Google or Yahoo actually, and started searching. And there were some little small sites that had artwork for sale, and I bought a ghost page that was from Dark Horse, the girl with the white.
Ghost.
Yeah, Ghost. Yeah, Ghost.
Yeah.
That character, but she wasn't on the page. It was just a 3/4 splash of the villains trying to track her down, and I thought it was really cool. I mean, it was the coolness factor. It wasn't like, oh, this is the first appearance of these guys, or this is her first persona, whatever. It was just, it was $25.
Aesthetically attractive, and the price was right.
Right, $25, and shipping was a $10 purchase. It's $35 out the door. I was happy.
Yeah,
I get it in the mail.
And I'm sorry, you said the ad. You saw it in the ad. The ad was where again?
It was online on a it looked like a porn site. It was black background with green letters.
Okay,
it was just so atrocious. Somebody had made
it was a site just for somebody selling comic art.
Yeah, I guess it was his comic art, or he was just selling random stuff.
Okay,
and one of the things was ghost pages. And I just was, okay, well, let me just try it out. Yeah. And I did. And then I jumped to eBay. And on eBay, I started collecting a lot more because I was like, oh my God, there's a good amount, and they're really cheap. The only thing that was the downfall of eBay in those early days was people would, have a small little thumbnail that they took with a shitty camera.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see what it was, right? but they would describe it as X-Men with Wolverine or whatever.
Yeah, I know all about that especially from guys like Caesar who don't believe in scanners, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just yanking his chain. We had this little talk last time, and he's like, because he only uses a camera, but he's one of the few guys who uses a camera and manages to make. They're still not as good as scanned pieces. I will have to be honest, but they're some of the best camera taken shots, you know, out there, you know.
Yeah. No.
But,
well,
and there he is. He's saying eBay was a rabbit hole for every collector. Absolutely, for sure.
Right. Exactly. I took a bunch of chances on some of those small pictures, and sometimes I got burned, you know, because I didn't read the description because it was a copy, not a photocopy of the art.
Wow.
And I was just like, yeah. So
they were selling copies. Wow.
Yeah. So I got burned on that. But there were some successes too. I mean, it was a maybe a 40-60 split, 40% bad ones and 60% good ones, you know. Wow. So it wasn't that bad.
That's pretty bad to me.
Well,
it never. I'm
starting out.
I mean, it never happened to me except for once. It wasn't comic art. It was. I think I've told the story once. It was a Beastie Boys image. It was this beautiful. It looked like a graphite drawing of the Beastie Boys, and I thought, whatever. I was like, is it such a horrible picture? I was like, is that real? It looks like graphite. It looks real. Like it doesn't look like a print. I don't know. And of course, it ended up being a print. You know, but yeah, for you to say it happened badly 40% of the time, shit, you got some really bad luck because don't forget, you're also the guy who told us you have approximately a 25% negative rate commission experience.
But part of the fun was the hunt too. You know, you actually, I looked at the positive side. I was a very positive person back then. Okay, that's plus
you're very positive,
the price. Not anymore.
Too many things bad happened to you.
Right, like, exactly. But the prices were so cheap, relatively thinking, you know, and I was like, okay, I take the loss, no big deal. Plus my income was a lot better, and I had a lot of play money back then, and so I was just going, okay, I'll take a loss, I'll take a win, you know, just volleyball back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yes, I did have a lot of bad turns, but the way I see it, I enjoyed it, the hunt, and sometimes it's a good story to say, you know, I got fucked like that twice by a van. Marcus, can you buy me a van? I need another van. I think mine's spoiled or too dirty.
Pretty soon you might be living in a van down by the river.
You know what? I'll look for a great spot, you know. I'll wait for a guy with a big beard, and you know, he'll be my coach.
well, I mean, Marcus is he's got faith in you. He figures if you survive that experience, you can pull through. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Marcus. It's appreciated.
Yeah.
So, other than eBay, I started also buying from Fanfare, which is Tom Fleming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tom was great. I got to say, Tom and Jim Warden were like the best guys that I could approach at a show or just through their website. They were friendly. They were encouraging. I could not say anything bad about them. They were great, or they are great. I mean, so those are the two guys that kind of pushed me into full on buying big stuff, you know, that they had, you know. And their stuff was reasonably priced too, so it was a really good win for me, in my opinion. There's another guy that I also collected from was Tommy Console.
Oh, Tommy
He's on calf. Tommy Console. Sorry, yeah. I call it Console. So sorry, Tommy. Sorry,
Tommy the television console.
Yeah. Does he have a VCR?
That's funny.
So Tommy was another one that I purchased from, and he was very, very sweet, in my opinion. He was just the nicest guy.
Nice guy, right? And
yeah,
and I also had been in touch with him, early on, 20 some odd years back or whatever,
Yeah.
But it's already been several years, but several years back, and he just doesn't seem to be in the hobby anymore. I don't know if he
No, he
quit
doesn't. No.
quietly or if he's just out,
Yeah.
but it seems like he's not really in anymore. But a few years ago, this is like years after I had already not seen him around the hobby, for a long time. He was in touch or whatever, and we were talking, and I said to him, I said, what the hell? I like to yank people's chain, especially on this show. I'll call people out if it's going to be something funny, right? And I said, Tommy, I go, I don't know if you remember, but the way we first connected, it was you emailed me when I had just opened my website probably a year or two earlier. I was still like a new dealer. And I said, Tommy, you contacted me, and all you contacted me for was to tell me off because I don't know if you guys remember the name Flint Henry. Sometimes he would sign as Henry Flint and sometimes Flint Henry.
Are you talking about the UK guy or the US guy? Because it's Flint Henry that's in US, and Henry Flint is UK Judge Dredd artist.
Oh, I didn't know there was two guys.
So there was two guys. I'm sorry, right here, two guys.
Okay.
So
Grimjack. Okay, so I had two covers of Captain Atom, DC's Captain Atom.
Okay.
Yep. And I believe those were Flint Henry.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tommy's like, he emails me out of the blue. First time ever I've heard of this guy. He starts telling me off because one of them was published, the other was not. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And so I had one as, let's say Captain Atom number 36 cover. The other one, Captain Atom number 34 unpublished cover. And he starts ripping me a new one because he says, how can you be calling this a cover? You can't call this a cover. If it wasn't published, it can't be a cover. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It's all about the intent, right?
Yeah.
The editor at DC told the guy, the artist, Flint Henry, said, listen, we're going to give you this job, this cover job for this issue of Captain Atom. Come up with something and, show me the design. Whatever. Yep. He goes ahead. He completes it. For whatever reason, they decide, no, we're not going to go with this one.
Right.
We're not going to go with what? We're not going to go with that cover, right? No. It's still a cover. Just because it didn't get published doesn't. He's ripping me a new one to tell me I can't use the word cover. Anyways, I just thought it was funny. I thought he was crazy. We ultimately still, I gave him a chance, and we became friendly after that, But like I said, several years back, I reminded him of that because I wanted to see, did he remember, did he ever remember that or whatever? And I told him that story, and he was like, really? Did I? Me? Are you sure it was me? I'm like, trust me. That's how I remembered your name forever because it was you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to forget an Italian name like that. Trust me, it was Tommy Consoli. Yes, it was you. And you ripped me a new one because I called an unpublished cover a cover. And he was like, man, if I did that, man, I was a real dick, but I'm sorry. But like, I can't believe I would have done that. But yeah, that might have been me. Okay.
But, I actually contacted Tommy years ago as well, just to say hi, because I think he's still on CAF, or he's got an active, or at least an on CAF gallery. So it's still there. So he does respond sometimes to those things. And I just emailed or messaged him saying, hey, how you doing? Because I haven't heard from you. I was just inquiring about something. I think if he had any more of the stuff. I figured he doesn't because, he no longer has the website up, I guess. It's right. If I recall correctly. I'm not sure. 100%, not that sure.
Right.
But yeah, he was like, oh yeah, Hart, I know you did this, you bought this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, great. So, for the guys that remember you, that's what builds the relationship for a dealer and a customer. And I think that's what I value about a dealer more, even though I might get fucked on the price, because I get fucked all the time,
Yeah.
right? That's my modus operandi.
You're the king of
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well-
Just call me Hart the 2-bit whore.
Mickey saying that Tommy's a great guy. He last heard from him about a year ago. So
Oh, okay. Well,
that's
give Tommy a thumbs up.
Yeah, and Caesar says he remembers Tom Consoli. I bought a few pieces from him, and then he says, and I always said it in my mind as console TV. Tommy Console, exactly. See, but he's Italian.
Yeah,
So
well,
console, Consoli.
But when I get it through an email, I don't know that it's Italian, right? I just see console. I'm like, okay, Tommy Console. Well, it's like my name, if it comes.
I mean,
well, it's like Rieckhof. It's Russian. It's European. It's Botswanan. What?
No, I would have thought German.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're more of European person, okay? You Canadians.
No,
Canadians.
We Canadians. We're all about that. Yeah. But no, that's fun. No, it's good guy, a good blast from the past name there. You know. Yeah.
So going on, I picked up a lot of stuff actually from Tommy that I still own, which is great. I feel happy about that. What's going on?
So Mark is saying we're talking about unpublished covers. I hope you're. Mark says call it a first version cover like the Donnellys do.
Oh shit! Fuck.
I mean, do we really want to get into that whole thing?
No.
Or first cover, or alternate cover. Yeah. They say it's the first cover. Like, oh my god.
Hey, Mark, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, that's not even. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't want to get you banned yet.
and Mickey says that I'm assuming you mean Tommy, Jim, and Tom Fleming, and you were the best dealers in the business. I love the way how you says, oh, and you, just because it's my show,
Yeah, sucking up, Mickey. Come on, say it how it's really at.
But yeah, no, I Jim and Tom, yeah, but when you say he, Mickey, are you talking about, because Tommy was just this collector guy, like he's not a dealer, so I don't know. Are you talking about somebody else? Who else did we mention? I don't know.
I think he's talking about Tommy.
But Tommy wasn't a dealer. I mean, he was a collector guy who kind of he wheeled and dealed. He was
he was a dealer to me. To me, he was a dealer.
You thought of him as a dealer?
I thought of him as a dealer because he actually had a storefront kind of back in the early parts of the collecting. Yes. One of the three screwed me in
a van.
This van is getting dirtier every minute.
This is a popular van. It's a popular van for sure.
I hope the shag carpeting lasts.
Yeah. But
I got to get my Gimp mask out of that. But anyway, so continue.
No. I was just going to say, Mickey.
Oh, okay.
I was going to ask Mickey. So did you also found Tommy to be more like you instinctivly thought of him as this dealer guy in Florida, I guess, like the way Hart kind of did also.
Yeah, so he's saying that right now. Actually, Tommy was a dealer to me, Mickey.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, I never thought of him. I thought of him as a collector, but not as a full-on collector. I thought he was more of a dealer because he had a lot of stuff on his site, and I think he knew one of the inkers. I forget who it is, but I think it's the inker that inked Steve Scrossi on Gambit series. Because I bought several Gambits from him a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay. Aloha, Carl. Good to see you, sir. Yeah. Okay. So fine. I guess. Yeah, you everybody views whoever as it's funny because I've said this about Will Gabriel, everybody these days and for years now views him as dealer, right? But I even told Will, we're chatting privately, and I told Will, I said, it's weird to me when people refer to you as a dealer. I always just felt he was a collector hardcore into
Right.
John Byrne, George Perez.
Yeah.
And yes, he dealt art, but he for years dealt it because it was his way of improving his own collection.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a guy like that, I look at as still a collector, even though you're constantly buying and selling things of your own accord. I always still view you as more of a collector. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's just perception.
Well, speaking of Will, is he connected to John Mancuda as far as getting collections and stuff? Did they team up at one point? I thought.
I mean, they know each other. They've done many deals together. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they've done deals. Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember one of the get-togethers that John was at. He was mentioning that he was getting with another guy. This is a story about the Crisis on Infinite Earth covers.
Oh, yeah.
He had almost all of those.
He had all
of those.
He had the 12. Yeah.
Okay, he had the 12. Okay, so yeah, I think Will's name came up, but I could be mistaken. It's been years since my recollection might be foggy on that part. But yeah, so that was an eye opener when Mancuda told me about the 12 covers.
Yeah. Dude, would you like to know what they cost him?
Yeah, I would.
Would you?
Yes, I would.
Anybody in the audience here watching in the live chat, would you care? Would you care to know what they initially cost on the first go around sale when they left George's possession and made their way into John's collection? Anybody else want to know? I don't see anybody saying yes, but we'll move on, and maybe if anybody else
talk later.
No, I'll reveal it. Marcus is saying sure, why not? Yeah, so all 12 were sold for an average close, Mickey. I mean, that would sound really sweet too. But it was sweeter. It was half of that. It was 500 a piece.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So six grand for the set.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, in those days, for anybody to whip out $6,000, I mean, that's big money. Believe it or not, that was tons of money. It's most people would not do that. Like a few would, but yeah, especially for those covers, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I started collecting them all, I was like, I'm not going to go above 200. I'm not going to go above 500. I'm not going to go above 1,000. Now I'm at 2,000 plus. It's like stupid.
It keeps going and going as you whatever. Yeah, it's just perception sort of sinks in more, and you get used to it, right? It becomes your new reality, right? And then you build a new perception, which ultimately, slowly but surely becomes your new reality again, and you're higher every time, right?
I mean, it goes the same way with comic books. I mean, you got slab books that are $500, and a unslabbed is $25. You're like, oh, okay, maybe I should get the slab one, and then it'll get more in value and stuff like that. So it's the same thing with art. It's like you just hope for it to increase.
For sure. Well, Carl, I'm glad to know you care, Carl. But I already said it, so hopefully you heard that in this. I literally clicked it as soon as your message came in. That's how late they come in. That's how late they come in sometimes. You probably typed it 30 seconds ago. I don't know. But
another dealer other dealers that I've worked with or dealt with, is Scott Eder, just very slightly, because he had a few. Scott is very eclectic with his stuff. I know that Mike NSN loves getting stuff from Scott because that's his wheelhouse kind of thing. And I love some of the art that Scott has, but it doesn't draw me in all the way to pull the trigger. It's like there's only a few things that would say, hey, yes, I'm going to take that.
I understand and feel the same way. I'm the same way. There's plenty of stuff in that sort of yes, it's independent, but how do you differentiate that stuff between that and a standard independent? I call it like underground. It's still a lot of it still feels, it has that underground type feel to it,
Yeah, I agree, but for me, it's more of a fine art underground or independence, because these are some of the really prime artists that have just skilled up the wazoo, in my opinion. And the mainstream doesn't see that. They see him as, oh, this quirky, independent people that are just strange, but they're not. They're just brilliant geniuses that nobody really, well, not a lot of people recognize.
Right.
And that's a shame. It's like, but yeah, Scott's collection of art is truly amazing if you look at it.
Yeah, for sure. And can I just use this as a quick segue to ask everybody who hasn't already done so, if you haven't already done so, would you please be lovely and kind people and just click the thumbs up button right under this video? Would really appreciate it. I'm not really asking much other than that. And even though, of course, you see it scrolling by at the bottom there, of course, once you see it's constantly scrolling, I assume it just sort of becomes part of the furniture and people don't really notice. And I also haven't asked in a long time, but I'll say it again. Let me switch that. If you're enjoying the show, if you enjoy any of my content and you intend on watching every now and then, if you don't mind, would you please hit the subscribe button? I would love to have even semi-regular to regular viewers subscribed to my channel. So if you could do that, that'd be great. I haven't asked in a long time, and because I haven't asked in a long time, I haven't been getting any new subscribers. So but I'd appreciate it if you can. And that's it. Thank you for allowing me. Oh, and one last thing, let me just do it real quick because I don't want to forget. I just want to mention to everybody, Marcus, let me know. I don't know if Nikki B is not here, and I don't remember if there's a show this Friday. I think he mentioned it on the show last Friday, but I think he's doing a show. Let me know if he is. But anyways, for those of you who want to see a art sales show that's weekly, tune in to youtube.com/theexp. That's the original art experience, featuring Nick Barucci as host. And that is at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Pacific, every Friday, primarily selling affordable art to try to get newer collectors into the fold, and occasionally higher end art, also sketch covers, remarks, that all kinds of stuff. But fun show. A lot of us hang out in the chat together of Nick's show as well, like all these friends of mine are doing here in my show. And so you'll see a lot of the same names, and yeah, we fool around, have fun, and that's what it's all about. So check it out. Again, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. There you go.
And for every click that you get, I will send out a picture of myself in my van. That should get 100 clicks at least.
In the van. Yeah.
The van.
A scary van. Oh, man. But okay, so where were we?
So other dealers.
Okay. So let me ask. So because you've mentioned a few. Okay, so obviously without having to name names or whatever, unless you want to, that's fine. You ever over the, because you've been collecting a long time. You must have favorite dealers. I'm sure you probably have, I don't know, guys who you felt not so favorite because of one reason or another. Do you want to talk about any of that kind of stuff? I don't know.
I mean, as far as favorite dealers, the top two were Tom Fleming and Jim Warden, and Tommy. I mean, three dealers, I guess, because they were my early guys, because those were the guys that introduced me into the full-on art collecting. I do like Will. Will is very fair about time payments. And he's a nice, super nice, very straightforward guy. Yes, super nice guy. I gotta say that I've heard some bad stuff about him, but I don't have that reaction. I totally say that he's a good guy to deal with, and you can trust him with any time payments or trying to figure out the deal itself. Moy Albert, he's a toughie. You can't get a lot out of Moy. It's like when you do trades with him, or if you offer, he kind of kicks in his heels and he sticks to them. And he's a businessman. I understand that. He's just, for my perception, I see Moy as a dealer and never as a collector. But I know he has a collection, okay? But my overall perception of Moy is that Albert is just a guy that's building a business, and it's a big business, bigger than Anthony or Ramita, in my opinion. And he really is more successful than both of them combined, in my opinion. Numbers, I don't follow their numbers at all. So,
I get you.
As far as one person that I didn't have a good customer relationship with,
hold on. Hold on.
Sure.
Just want to show you that Stanley is telling you to talk dirt, please.
Okay, all right.
He wants you to dish the dirt.
Okay, Stanley.
But before you do, let me apologize, but let me just quickly say, because Marcus, again, this crappy YouTube delay really makes things difficult. So Marcus got back to us and to say, okay, so there is an episode of the EXP this Friday. So that's the show I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago. And it's to help out Fat Jack's comic store. Okay, there you go. All right.
All right, nice.
I think I might be out for dinner with the family on Friday. Anyways, okay, whatever. I'll be there.
You got to do what you got to do. Family comes first.
For sure. Yeah. But okay, so sorry.
Okay, so Stanley, here's the dirt. So one of the newer dealers that I've or reps, I guess, I'm not sure if they're a dealer or rep, is Cadence.
Yeah,
Cadence
like
Comics.
Art representation.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Paolo is my recent experience with him was not favorable in any respect. I inquired about a page. This is like 3 months ago, if that. And he got right back to me. He goes, yes, send the money. I did it right away. I don't wait, like in eBay, they say wait 3 days. You can wait 4 days to send it. I don't do that. I send it right away. Right. So I also request that he doesn't ship out the art to me because I wasn't going to be in California. I was going to be on a trip. So I told him, please send it out November 1st.
Okay.
First thing. I get back. I don't see any emails from him. And let's see, 3 days later, I inquire. I'm like, hey, Paolo, do you do you have a tracking number? What's the status on this? No message back. I try through his website, nothing. I try through the Instagram messaging system, nothing. I finally go to the artist who I know, who's Scott Hepburn, who I dealt with commission-wise like years ago.
Right.
So I asked Scott, I'm like, hey, do you know Paolo? And he goes, yeah, I know Paolo. He's my rep. I said, okay, great. Can you tell Paolo I'm waiting for this page? I bought this page of yours. He goes, thank you very much for the page, for buying the page. And I said, no problem. It's a great page. He goes, I'll talk to Paolo. I'll message him today and get back to you right away. 2 days later, nothing from Scott either. So it's a while before I see the message saying that they're shipping. Somebody else sends me a email saying, we're shipping this art. Here it is.
Right.
And it's some other name, not Paolo's name. So I was annoyed at the fact that there was no communication, no sorries, nothing to say, hey, I dropped the ball or whatnot. I had a death in the family or something that could not be skirted around, right? So it was just like, what the fuck, guys? I gave you the money right away. I didn't balk at it. I didn't say, oh my God, can you wait 4 days? I paid right away.
Yeah.
And it just left me with a bad taste in my mouth.
Sure.
And to this day, I don't have a message from the artist or Paolo.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing that as a dealer, any dealer who's selling you something should really consider, because it's a communication that makes the experience better, not worse, right? And if you treat me like shit, I'm going to remember this.
Right.
And I've been vanned before, I've had a lot of van episodes already.
Yeah.
So this is not my next van experience. This is just going to be me just saying, hey, I went back to the artist through Instagram. I messaged him. I said, hey, this is what's happened. Okay. I haven't heard from anybody saying, I'm sorry. I'm going to not be purchasing anything from Cadence ever again. and I know that there's a lot of artists that he has that I would be more than happy to buy. But
Sure.
at this point, it's like, hey, you treated me like shit. You didn't give me any kind of reasoning. I'm walking away. And
Yeah.
yes, I am losing out on probably some art that I really would love, but I'm good with walking away. And this is not the end of the world for me, you know. And fuck them is what
Yeah.
I consider. Yeah, and that's my attitude. So people kind of get very protective of their dealers, and I can understand that. I am too. But if you treat somebody like that, it's not worth the effort on my part to go above and beyond anymore with that dealer and
Yeah.
try to make up, because they're not making up.
Right. Right.
So I mean, that's one dealer. Another dealer.
Hold on before you
Yeah.
move ahead. I just
Yeah.
want to say, excuse me. I just want to say about Cadence. I have never had any contact with them of any kind whatsoever. All I can say about it is through hearing other collectors. I speak to a lot of people. A lot of people speak to me, and they want to lay their shit out on me. I can say that for whatever reason, I don't know why the guy doesn't seem to run a tighter ship, but I've heard an equal amount of bad publicity, bad stories about that guy as I have the good stuff. Because I've heard a lot of people are happy
Right.
when it goes good. Of course, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
That's normal,
Of
right?
course.
It doesn't matter. You could be dealing with whoever you think is the worst dealer in the hobby,
Right.
and if you took a chance and miraculously somehow it went fairly smoothly, you're going to be like telling people, I tried it and it worked out okay for me, right? You're going to say good things,
Right.
but yeah, it for whatever reason, I've heard about as many. It's like an equal amount with that guy. You said his name was Paolo.
Paulo.
Yes.
Paulo.
Yes,
Well,
and funny enough, the story that you told, it's almost verbatim. It's very similar, very, very similar with stories that other people have told me. So it kind of speaks to kind of like what you said. A big problem is with the communication, and a lot of people know that has been probably, I would say, in my opinion, in my experience, that is probably the biggest problem I've ever had with certain sellers. It's this horrific communication. A lot of these guys, they can't be bothered to write back and answer all your questions, right? They answer you with a 5-word sentence, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
I got to write this guy back and ask the same questions all over again, that whole thing. So a lot of them are just horrific communicators. That's true. It's unfortunate, but yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what is it with that guy. I guess he's got enough. He's got enough, artists that are popular to where he could keep going. But I was speaking to somebody recently about him, or sorry, I should say somebody was speaking to me recently about him and told me a similar story. And they mentioned, they said, like, I'm gonna tell the artist, like, I'm not gonna just tell the guy, because apparently the owner of the business never responds to the emails anymore. Once you have a problem, he doesn't respond to the emails. So he was like, I have no choice. He's not leaving me a choice. I'm just gonna go back to the artist, because I have contact with the artist, and I'm just gonna tell him, look, this is what's happening, and I'm sure I'm not the only person. And I said, look, that's really, it's like you speak with your wallet, right? In any business, forget artwork. I mean, just any business. If you don't get treated well, the best way to do it is to stop giving them business. And in this business, where it's a lot about representation of other people, you're supposed to be representing them. And if you end up getting kind of like a bad rep, right, a bad reputation because of how how badly your sort of the transaction goes with a lot of people, then it's only fair that you should expect that these customers are going to go directly to the artist and say, hey, like, I don't know if you're even aware of this, but I think you should be aware that blah, 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 blah happened, when I'm trying to buy your artwork. And I know other people that also the same thing happened, you know. So and then eventually that's the only way you'll ever see these people maybe say, hey, you know what, it's been good, but I'm gonna, we'll part ways and I'll go with somebody else or do it myself or whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah, if you keep it quiet, if that's the thing is, if collectors keep it quiet always to themselves, that's not good either.
We shouldn't keep it quiet. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
We should be vocal in that respect.
Sure. I'm just saying you don't want to be out like some guys who want to go out there. They had some kind of a negative experience and they go out there and on social media, they start blasting whoever the seller was or whatever. And then there's times where that happens. And then when you dig deeper into it and you find out the details, I've been in that situation where suddenly I'm like, what? Okay, now that I know the details, you're the asshole. It's not him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why, like, you shouldn't be out there just blasting away. And ask other people first. Yes, if you want to publicly call out, like, hey, does anybody have any experience with this artist or this rep or whatever, and see if you could get other people to tell you their stories. That happens on Facebook, right? And people can share their stories, and it's easier that way. But you shouldn't just get out and blast away immediately. Yeah.
Well, I've been blasted back when I complain about an artist and a commission and stuff like that, because you get like the fans that are this artist fans, and they're like, well, that person's he gave me my commission and no problems. I'm like, yeah, that's your experience. But if you were in my boat or in my place, what would you do? Would you just keep quiet? No, you do the same thing, because, it's all I needed from Paulo was a sorry, I made a mistake, or the shipping didn't get processed the way I should have done it, or some kind of explanation. I was okay with an explanation, then just let it go.
Right.
But the fact that he didn't do anything, or his people didn't do anything, or the artist didn't do anything, that just culminated in a bad experience overall. And it just gave me, just the sense that this guy is not a really good rep or dealer or whatever he calls himself.
Yeah.
In my opinion. This is my opinion. If you want to blast me, go for it. I'm okay with that. But
I get you.
If anybody is going to treat you like, if they're going to treat your mom like that, would you be quiet? No, you would not. Yeah, of course not. It's your mom. You're gonna put the shit out of the that person.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's one of the most recent one.
Okay. Hold on. Before you go on to the next one, I just want to address Carl's question. He's asking, has anybody of any of us or anybody in the chat, in the live chat, have you ever hunted down a dealer who ripped off your money? In other words, they screwed you in some way, they took your money, and then you go face to face, like finding them at a convention or whatever. I never have, but I've never really been ripped off. I've had bad service, but I've never been ripped off. Well, not in comic art. I've been ripped off by a guy on eBay in California, and actually in the San Diego area, and and I actually was going to go hunt him down. Yeah. And then somebody told me, you know what, like, you shouldn't do that, because like you don't know what this guy's, you don't know who he is, right? What if you show up on his doorstep and he's got a shotgun or whatever, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. But then I went through the legal way. I was like, I wasn't going to let this guy get away with it. And so I filed a lawsuit against him, which was not easy, because I got to do it all through the phone with the San Diego court system and all that, whatever. I got a court date and whatever. And then eventually my friend said, you know what? Look, the truth is, you're going to come down here all the way to San Diego from Canada. Okay, think of it this way. You're going to go for your court appointment. That guy who ripped you off, he may not even show up. And guess what happens when he doesn't show up? The judge will likely award you the case. He'll say, okay, judgment in favor of, Mr. the Collector, right? But here's the problem, is the law only goes that far. Once they render the judgment, they don't have like people to go out there to visit that person to make sure he pays you. So you're
Yeah,
never going to get
exactly.
paid, right? You're never going to get paid anyway. So that's why he's like, forget it. And that's why I ultimately never did end up. I canceled the whole court date or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah,
I have gone after somebody.
wow. Okay,
But it was not a dealer. It was a artist.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, but yeah, that's good enough. Somebody ripped you off for
I
artwork, right?
mean, yeah.
Okay,
So I commissioned him at San Diego for a drawing for the weekend. I go on Saturday, nothing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be here through Sunday, so no rush.
right.
Sunday it is. So he goes, I'm going to put some extra stuff in it. He gave me all this bullshit flower shit. And I
Sorry, bullshit. What
come
shit?
on Sunday. Kind of like flour. He's like, I'm going to give you extra stuff. I'm going to put a
Oh,
little bit
flour
of
buttering you
background,
up and stuff. Yeah.
butter me up with a little bit of flouring up the
Floury. Yeah. I got you.
yeah, all that
Bullshit.
yeah. So
Yeah.
bullshit. The mushrooms,
Yeah.
I'm just the mushroom fed bullshit and all that.
Mhm.
So Sunday comes around and I'm like, hey, what's going on? He goes, I'm going to take this home and I'm going to do a really bang up job and I will give you a cover quality stuff. I'm like, okay, or whatever he explained to me as a good piece.
Yeah.
So he gave me his contact number, his email,
Okay.
and a month later, I emailed him. I said, hey, what's going on? Where's the piece? He's like, oh, I got this going on and this going on. And then a year later, by the way, this is Jason Pearson from Gaijin Studio. Okay, so everybody knows Jason.
You
Yeah,
should have no shame to say his name out loud. Yeah.
no. I wanted to bring it out at the end because it was kind of like,
Oh.
yeah, everybody knows this. So, but on the next San Diego, I walked up to him and I said, where's the stuff? He's like, oh, I'm going to give your money back. I'm like, okay. So he said he's going to send me a check, right?
Send you a check.
It took him, yeah, he's going to send me a check. So it took him like 3 months to get me the check. I think, if I recall the timeline correctly, it might be woozy there. But I finally got the money back. But it was like, and then about 4 months later or something, there was a big hoopla about him not giving commissions to a bunch of people, and he reneged or he failed to do it for them. So the story kind of came out on him. And then I recall he had a Facebook post that he was going to end his life because he didn't feel that editors were giving him his due diligence.
What?
They were, yes.
Oh my God.
So editors gave him jobs because he was, he couldn't make his rent or whatever it was. He was, low on money. But if you think about it, the money that he collected every San Diego, he should have put it towards something, right?
Right.
And then give the person their commission. But I don't know how he saves or how he spends his money, but it's not wisely.
No, clearly.
And and I'm sure he can come over and beat the shit out of me. I'm fine with that. But look, he didn't do what he was contracted to do. I'm a freelance graphic designer. I do things by word. If I say I'm going to do a logo for you, I will make a logo for you. I will get it done, and I'll give you a contract, how long it will take, and what it will cost, and what you will get. Right. It's a deal. Whether it's verbal or in a contract on a paper, it's the same. So when a commission is done, or when a sketch is supposed to be done at the convention or at home, that's the same kind of contract, right? They need to fulfill their contract. So that's where I've had the 25% people not do their commissions for me because they're just not contacting me back, ignoring my calls or my emails.
Yeah.
And just being total dipshits.
Yeah, I mean, all the commission collectors in the audience here in the live chat. I mean, they know all about that. They know exactly where you're coming from. It's
I had one guy I waited 7 years for, and then finally I emailed him. I said, you know what? Just take it. I don't want it. It's not. I'm not feeling happy about myself, and I have to be the one to stress and continue doing the follow-ups, all that
always
stuff.
you're the one chasing. They have you chasing after them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I hate. And if a dealer did that to me, I would do this. I would walk up to them. I mean, if it occurred to me, it never has, but commissions obviously has.
Okay, but I thought this was leading up to, because you said that you did that. I thought you were going to say that somebody had ripped you off, and then you later went to see them at a con to
Yes, I did. That's Jason. That's Jason. So I went to see Jason at the end of the next year of San Diego.
Oh, I see. On the next one, I see. Okay.
Yeah, next one. Yeah. So
at
that point, he said, "I'm going to give your money back."
That's when he did the money thing. Yeah.
Okay. So sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Confusion.
That's fine. Caesar wants you to know that so now that he knows you're in SoCal, it's even easier. He's going to hire you to go after artists.
Well, I'll pull up my van, Caesar, next to your house, and you have to do 3 knocks, but it has to be really rapid knocks.
That's funny.
The password is giggles.
Yeah, nice. David says that, Hart, I love your passion. People have to realize your word is your word. Yeah. Right. I mean, I'm old school. Yeah. That's how I was brought up, right? It's your word is your bond. Yeah. And so my word is gold. If I tell you it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Even whatever, like, something happened to me. Oh, I owe the government more taxes than I thought. There's no excuse. I'm going to pay you whatever I got to do to get more money. Yeah. I'm going to do it because that's what you do. That's what you should do. Do the right thing. That's what it's about,
Yeah, I mean, my handshake is the bond that I create. I mean, my dad instilled that in me every day of my life, and he kept to that, so I keep to that, and I insist on my kids to keep their bond with their word, and hopefully more people will do that. But in this industry, it's kind of a weird situation, I think, because we do have a lot of people that are wishy-washy, and they don't like.
Well, it happens a lot in this industry and hobby because it's fault on both sides, right? It's fault because the wishy-washy artist thing, right? That a lot of them are, but then on the consumer side of things, too many, at least in my opinion, that's my view. So don't get mad at me. In my view, I've always felt that, especially the commission collectors, they are too. I think it's this this inability to separate the fact that what I grew up with this guy's artwork or this woman's artwork, separating the celebrity aspect of it, the
pedestal that they put them on.
Right. Like too many fans put these guys on a pedestal just because they entertain me my whole life. Okay, fine, that's great. They entertain me too. But they're still just artists. Like I don't put anybody on a pedestal. Nobody. I don't care who it is, And I think that's part of the problem. That's a big part of the problem too, right? It's when you put the artist on a pedestal that way, of course you're going to be less likely to want to get angry at them, and you're going to be more likely to say, "Oh, okay, sure, swallow the shit and just." Oh, you need another few months? Okay, no problem. And let it stretch out to another year. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah. I mean, I met one of my heroes, one of my pedestal guys, Russ Heath. Okay, Russ Heath, great artist from the Silver Age. He did the war comics for DC and other comics for Marvel, I think, as well, but mostly DC.
Yeah.
I met him. He lived in LA area, somewhere in LA area. And I came out to see him. And that experience was like, oh my God. I was like, you're a sick bastard.
In a good way?
No. He took me into his house, or it's a condo area.
He took you into his van? What?
Yeah, exactly. In my van. In the van. So
here we go again.
Here we go again. So I told him, hey, I'm in the area. I can come down to LA. I can take you out for lunch, and we could talk about art and your career. And that's all I wanted to do, is just meet him, because I grew up on his stuff. We go to lunch. He buys the most expensive wine and the most expensive food.
Oh,
he takes
God.
me to an Italian restaurant that he's like, he goes, they know me here. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll give him that.
But you had said he knew you were going to treat him to lunch?
Yes. I was going to treat him, but
Okay.
I didn't know I was treating him that well.
No,
okay?
that's what I'm saying. He as soon as he found out you're treating, he decided to take full advantage.
Yeah. He did. Afterwards, we went back to his little cottage, and he started showing me pictures of artwork. But the funny thing was, these were pieces that he had done for other artists or other collectors as well, and they were just exactly copies. All he did is lightbox them and kept selling them for $350 or $500.
The same image.
Same ones. I kid you not. I have seen them on CAF galleries, and I saw them exactly in his place.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like somebody, if somebody said, "Hey, Russ, can I pay you to do me a Sergeant Rock piece?" and he would just keep it and keep lightboxing the same one, so that every time somebody asked for one, they would get that same one.
I was like, you know what? I was thinking, Russ, just do you have any pages? I don't want the commission. I don't want an illustration, right? So he started, but just as we were walking in, I forgot about this part. His place looks like a hoarder's den. It's got models of World War II planes hanging from strings, junk mail everywhere, and there's a cigar box on his counter in his kitchen. And he goes, I've got this girlfriend. She drives me nuts. And then he opens it up, and there's her panties are in there. And he goes,
dirty or clean?
Okay. Well, I didn't check. But he was talking about how he needs Viagra to deal with her. And it went downhill from there. At the very last part, he's like, come into my bedroom. I've got other stuff in there. And I'm like, no, sorry, I'm gone. Yes.
It's like the van all over again. Oh my God.
Too many van experiences. I walked out of there. I said, Russ, goodbye. Thank you very much. I'm done. Wow. And I just left. And but you're right. The image that I had for him was so different from what the real person is. And that's one of the things that every collector should find out for themselves is your hero, your art hero is sometimes a scum, sometimes a really nice guy or girl or a woman, I'm sorry. But they are human beings. Just like you might be scum. I mean, I'm scum too sometimes. Yeah. So, but
speak for yourself.
I have limits.
No, that's fine.
I go to third base every time. Yes.
And good to see you, Rich. Good to see you every now and then dropping in. Thank you, sir. Says many collectors don't want to upset the artist, even when they get jerked around. A lot of artists get held in high esteem by fans. That's what I was saying, right? Isn't that exactly what I was saying? That's the problem. That's the problem. Is that there's this whole hero worship thing. I guess that's a good way to put it in a small sort of a quick way to say it. Hero worship by the fans equates to It makes it easier for wishy-washy people, the artists. Mm-hmm. To take advantage of the fans and their niceness, So, yeah, that's it's a shame. But I did want to say, by the way, before I forget, where is he? Carlos Mo, good to see you, sir. So I don't know why you were saying Grummet with the horrible spelling. I don't know why you were mentioning it, but unless you had a bad experience with him in a commission or whatever, I've never heard anything bad about him. Other than on certain certain commission windows or what do you call it? Commission lists, right? On certain ones when he has opened them, he has been it took him like a lot longer of a turnaround time than initially expected. Other than that, right, which is par for the course for most artists anyways. Right. Other than that, I personally never heard a bad word. I've heard, and in fact, I typically only hear really good things about Tom. So be that what it may, but if you have a story about Tom, let us know, Carlos. It's curious. Always want to hear good and bad.
I've always wanted to get on Tom's list, but I think we spoke a little while ago, and you said that it's very hard to get on the list because there's a good fan group that gets gets on there and they snap it up, and that's okay with me. But it's par for the course.
You know what? I just to give you a quick tip. Mention that you're not on Facebook. Go talk to Byron Ham. That's
I know Byron. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Right. So reach out to Byron, tell him what you just said, and so therefore, can you get me on? I'm willing to wait. Let's say just automatically put me on his next list. So it doesn't even have to be or whatever this upcoming one, but the one after that. But can you reach out to me?
Well, I mean, right now I'm past Tom. I mean, it's because I've grown out of the commission list kind of thing.
Oh, right.
I've not been doing a lot of commissions with. I mean, I did one commission just recently with, I forget the artist. He's more of an illustrator in, I believe, Chicago, but he did it for $25. It was like he did a the creeper for me. Great stuff. Turned it around in 2 weeks, I think, and I didn't have a problem. But I'm not jumping back into the deep dive for commissions because of the fact that my percentage is not very good.
Stories you have.
Yeah,
I get it.
25% of the van is already filled with dirt.
Just want to mention that Carlos has responded and said, no, Grummet is the best. Okay, good. Glad to hear it.
Oh, David's saying that if I go to San Diego, he knows good taco places. Thanks, David. I'll take you up on that.
There you go. Here we go. Hart of you ever come? Oh, Art, if you ever come to San Diego, I can introduce you to somebody. if you ever come. Okay, cool. And Stanley mentioned earlier that he loves the important and honest conversation. Hart is fearless. That's my man.
I'm more stupid. I'm more stupid than fearless. So I don't know how to keep my mouth shut.
Although Carl seems to think that it's too much information. I don't know what you're referring to, though.
He's probably referring to the Russ Heath, the Russ
Heath stuff,
tobacco box.
I would say so too. Yeah, oh yeah, it has to be because that was right before Mark's comment saying Russ after dark. Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty scary. Actually.
Rich Cirillo,
and of course Ian says, sucks that a few bad apples will ruin businesses for the industry. Yeah, that's that. It's sad, but of course it's sad. But that's what it is. Marcus wants you to power wash the interior.
I will.
Rich says, I had one artist that Ruben is familiar with keep me hanging for 6 years on a commission I had given him a down payment on. I finally had to tell him I was going to take legal action to get refunded. Yeah, I mean, this shit happens. There's all sorts of stories out there about this stuff, Carl wants you to buy a new van, burn the old one.
Actually, I did buy a Subaru just last week, so that Subaru is now the next van.
That's the next van. Okay.
So one thing that I want to talk about is recent experience. Then, if we can go forward.
Just give me a sec. Because we've just hit the 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. So it's been 2 hours. We I always say, we try to keep it to 2, but we always go to close to 2 and a half, whatever. If these guys still hang in and you want to hang in, I'll keep it going.
Yeah, I'm here.
That's fine. But before we do, just want to mention for those that will probably be dropping out, some of you guys will probably drop out soon, including Jason. I don't know if you've dropped out, Jason. Jason Ladwig always has to go because he's got work the next day. He hasn't said that he's dropping out. He usually says it, but just in case, Jason, if I know you're doing your Hanukkah thing, so I assume you don't also celebrate Christmas. Just wanted you to know, and I might as well say it for everybody right now, although I was going to do it at the end of the show anyways, but might as well do real quick, that I'm still going to go live next week. And this is my thumbnail for next week's video. So that is the night of Christmas Day. So it is on the 25th at night. And it's not really a planned episode, guys. So, it being Christmas, didn't really want to ask start asking people to come on. But I figured, you know what? I'm typically not doing anything Christmas night. What I will do is I will go live just for the sake of going live, just to see if anybody shows up. I'm curious. Okay. But I figured I would plan at least one little thing, which is that I would open some gifts live on air. I hear tell that a lot of people love that in these parts of the YouTube. It's otherwise known as unboxings or whatever. And I really hate that term, but anyways, so what I'm going to do is I've just been sort of saving up a handful of packages that I've been buying myself, artwork, recent artwork purchases, and I, rather than opening them, I decided to just not open them, and I figured, okay, I might as well, since I'm going to go live. I'm going to go live on Christmas night anyways. Let me come back to you. I figured, you know what? It'll give me something to do in case nobody shows up. I will open my gifts to myself up live on camera, and if that takes 15 minutes, whatever it is, that'll be it. And if nobody really shows up, there's nobody to chat with, like in the live chat, or if nobody wants to suddenly jump on into the studio with me, then I'll call it a day, call it a night, I should say, and that'll be it. It'll be a really short episode. But if somehow people surprisingly do show up and we can get a conversation going, then who knows? Maybe we'll just keep it going a little longer. And yeah, so we'll play it by ear, but nothing's planned other than for me to do the little gift openings. And beyond that, if people show up to chat and they want to chat, we'll chat. Other than that, nothing else planned. All right. But just wanted you guys to know, especially for those of you celebrating Hanukkah, you don't really have an excuse next week. Or unless that's the 8th day. Will that be the 8th day? That'll be the 7th or 8th day, wouldn't it?
That's 7th, I think.
Yeah, the 7th. So you probably still will be celebrating Hanukkah. Yeah. But anyways, whoever, if you're at home, you don't have family or friends, especially. I know some people are in that situation, right? They don't have family anymore. They don't have friends in the local area. If that describes you, you don't got to tell me. I'll be here. So show up at 8 o'clock and maybe we can chat, and have some fun on Christmas night. I'll be happy to spend some time with you. Yeah.
Well, I'll spend time with you if you want. I'll spend time with you if you want.
You'll spend, yeah?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Well,
if you're up for it. We'll see.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. All right. We'll talk.
I have no friends. I have no friends. I just have a van.
Well, just have a van. Exactly. You just got the van. All right. We'll talk about that later. All right. Let me get back. While I was blabbing about that Christmas, going live on Christmas, I missed a bunch of comments. Jason. So Jason's still here. So yeah, there you go, Jason. Just in case. I'm shocked that you're still here, Jason. No work tomorrow? What's happening? You're usually leaving by now. But let me see. Carl says, this is much better than watching the NFL on Sunday. I wouldn't go that far. Although clearly I end up missing the NFL on Sunday by doing this, but that's fine. I appreciate that, though, by the way, Carl. That's really nice of you. So I really do appreciate that. So thank you very much in all sincerity. Carlos says, unbox the Russ Heath box. Yeah, there will not be. Imagine we got Russ Heath box, everybody. We're ready to unveil it. Oh, my God. Stanley wants to know, any Christmas theme for the show? Well, you already heard what the show is going to be about, so I don't have to answer that. Caesar, I want to know where to get the best tacos in SD. Oh, well, David Matheny is going to tell you. He'll tell you. He's partial to Oscar's Mexican seafood. Okay. And what else we got? I think some of them are customer service complaints you've been delaying looking at. Oh, sorry. What was he talking about on that one? What were we talking about?
Unboxing, probably.
Customer complaint. Sorry, Marcus. Yeah, sorry, man. Confused. Rich says eggnog and openings. Yeah, no eggnog, too sweet for me. Loved it when I was younger because I loved all kinds of sweet stuff. I still love sweets, but there's certain things that are just too sweet. Lapre, okay, so Mikhail, good evening to you, by the way. I don't think I said good evening to you, Mikhail. Giving some recos out there in the San Diego area. Carl says, I'll try my best to be here on. Oh, that'd be nice. Hey, listen, like I said, don't, if you have family, friends that you spend it with, please don't piss them off just because you're gonna try to show up to my little rinky-dink talk show or whatever. Do it if you can, but I'd appreciate it. Obviously, it'd be good to see everybody, but believe me, I understand if you can't be there on the 25th. Okay, and don't piss off family and friends for sure.
Hey, Ruben, I thought you're paying me for this. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
a commission, maybe.
The check's in the mail. Check's in the mail, man. Check's in the mail. That's a classic, right? The check's in the mail.
Right.
Let me know when it arrives. David,
I will.
Will I spin the dreidel? So I am a Jew in honorary terms only, David, just so you know. Honorary terms only, bestowed upon me by very good Jewish friends of 27, 28 years. So yeah, I will not be spinning the dreidel. I've actually spun a dreidel. So believe it or not, yes, I have. I have attended any imaginable Jewish event there is that you could think of. But I will not be spinning the dreidel over the next 8 days. Yeah, so there you go. Caesar, I have 6 packages that I've nice. One is at least what? What kind of a psycho are you? Caesar has at least 6 packages he hasn't opened. One of them is a year old. I don't know. Okay, listen, Caesar, I know being from the background that you are, I'm going to assume Christmas is a big thing for you. But if by some miracle at 5 o'clock, anytime between 5 and 7 p.m. on the 25th, if somehow you're not doing anything and you want to jump on, you want to jump in and jump into the chat on the 25th when I'm going live, and you want to open those gifts live like I did or I'm gonna be doing, you're welcome to. That'd be a fun thing. But I expect that you'll have things to do on the 25th, so no worries. But that's really wild, man. That's cool. What else we got? Jason's digging Hart stories, so that's why he's sticking around. You see, Hart, nice. That's why I love to get the cool friends to come on. Exactly. All right, and nice. You see what that is? That's what we'll find in the special Russ Heath box.
Yes.
We just don't know if it's dirty or clean yet. That remains to be.
There might be DNA.
I should be going to bed. Why, you got a 5:30 start tomorrow? What are you doing here, sir? Well, I really appreciate it. You're very lovely, especially knowing.
Nice, Jason.
Yeah, especially knowing he could just catch the end on rewind too.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Jason. That's really, really nice of you. Wow. You're going to be dead tomorrow and for the rest of the week probably, but we appreciate it. That's very, very sweet of you.
Yeah, we do. Thank you, Jason.
Carl, Hart, you're killing Carl with all the van references. And last but not least, Ian says, I will at least try to get a like on it for you. Oh, I'd appreciate that, man. Oh, by the way, I mean, it's already scheduled, right? So, Ian, I mean, you're on my channel right now. So, I mean, don't go away from this, but, when this is done or whatever, or open my channel up in a different tab if you want. And you could do it right now because it's already scheduled up on my channel. So, yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. But yes, believe me, you of all people, I know how busy you're going to be with the family on Christmas Day. Okay, so sorry. Yeah, sure. Let's we got maybe 15, 20 minutes and then we'll call it a wrap. Okay. Yeah, all right. So give me some more stories.
Go with so the last story actually involves dealers again. So okay. Actually, I'm going to bounce it off of you because I want to see what your opinion is on this too.
Ooh.
Is the fact that
and then we'll get and then also, since you want an opinion, and then I'll throw it back to my pals in the audience here in the live chat, and right, and they can. Why not? Let's get more than one opinion and see what everybody thinks, because I'm sure we'll have multiple opinions that way that are
good. That's
diametrically opposed to each other. I'm sure. So let's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Let's do that.
So in regards to trades, usually when I've done trades with other collectors, it's been an easy peasy kind of, okay, you've got this page, I've got this page. My page, I want $100 more because I don't think it's comparable. Or the other person says, I want $300 for my page because yours is okay. But we kind of communication again. It's all about the communication, right? We kind of find a middle spot, and we kind of come together, or not. It's a yes or a no question for me. It's like, do you want to trade? Yes. Do you not want to trade? No. Go away.
Okay,
or you walk away.
I just want to interject immediately just to say that I don't think that it's as easy as necessarily a yes or no question. Again, there's variables, so it depends. It
right.
depends,
okay.
Because we're using hypotheticals, right? So you're not even using exact pieces. So it makes a difference when you kind of know what the art was. It really helps to I know you're not going to.
You do your research on the art, right? You do the research and you kind of figure out where, because you'll see Heritage or you'll see Comic Link that they sold it for this much, and this is the page value, and my page value might be less, but you still do the communication bit where you kind of go, okay, I understand that it's sold on Heritage for $2,000. Mine's only $1,500. Would 500, or I would say, would 300 be okay over? And we're kind of get there. And that would be a yes or a no for me, because I kind of like to keep it black or white and not, too much gray is kind of muddling it up. And I want immediate answers. I don't want you go back 3 days later, you might email me, or I have to track you down and say, hey, what did you think about this? Are you still interested? Hey, I really want this page. Do you want to do it? It's like, I'm doing the legwork again. And that's not what we're here for. We're here for acquiring art for our collections and having a good time. And hopefully that connection will be a friendship later on down the line, where you can say, hey, John, Sam, Jack, whatever, hey, I know you, I'm going to look for a page for you that you've been looking for. And, reciprocate kind of thing. You get kind of, but for dealers,
it's part of building a network. Let's call it
but building network. I call it friendship. You call it network because you're a dealer.
No, I'm saying.
No, I was joking.
No. But I'm saying that specifically. No. Because the reason I say that is because I do differentiate. Because when you're talking about a dealer, with a website, the whole shebang, long time deal, whatever, the likelihood is you're not going to become their buddy. You may have them as a contact that maybe you help each other, whatever, and that's why I'm saying that. Whereas if it's collector to collector, far more chance, absolutely, that it becomes what you're saying. You become friends. I mean, that's how a lot of my friends, we became friends that way, right? Through a deal, and then
but one of the things that I want to post to you is, okay, so I got this page that I was looking at. It's a cover that Anthony Snyder has. Okay. So I contacted him. I said, hey, do you want to trade for this page? It was my double page splash of Parallax by Doug Mank. It's huge. And to me, it's a comparable page.
Okay.
I personally believe that Anthony has his page for our cover way above the price that it should be at. He has it at $4,500. It's a Mr. Miracle page with Mr. Miracle and the old Lobo before Bisley, okay? When he was more like a 80s kind of guy.
So
anyway,
is that early mid-90s Mr. Miracle?
Yeah, probably 90s. It was around the time that Lobo and Superman kind of had a little fight, and I think it was Jerry Ordway or Grummett maybe that did the art for that.
Okay.
It was back in the So anyway, so I contacted Anthony. I said, hey, would you do a trade for this? Straight trade. And instead of saying yes or no, which is what I wanted in the answer, because if he had said yes, we could start dealing and kind of coming to a agreement.
And Joe Phillips said, Caesar says it's a Joe Phillips.
Joe Phillips, Joe Phillips cover, So he says, okay, hold on. I got to get his email because I don't want to misconstrue this.
And just so you know, David Matheny, and he's letting you know, Anthony is my main dude.
I know. Okay. I know, but I'm just asking for opinions here. So let's see.
And while you're looking,
let
me just put this comment up by David. What a great show tonight. We have covered rip-off merchants, Xmas, Hanukkah, art, vans, tacos,
Vans.
Italian eateries, and more to come. Not much more. We're going to have to cut it short soon, even though...
Yeah. This is going to be last. This is last.
Even though our ship is at its peak. But anyways, okay.
So he says, what could I mark it up as to me as far as my page or my double page splash, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said back, Anthony, that's up to you. I asked if you would do a straight trade, a yes or no answer to my query. And he responds, is that the first panel app of the character, ? I explained that it's the Parallax Rebirth page. It was Jeff Johns' reintroduction of the character for his long run in the Green Lanterns title. Let's see. And that's it. That's all I got from him, and nothing back. So my question to you is that how dealers would usually interact? Because for me, I just want a simple answer. Yes, sometimes it can't be a simple answer because you think that your page is worth more, or his page is worth more, and so forth.
Right. So that's the first problem with this situation. That's the first problem.
Yeah.
Is that
okay.
Anthony doesn't know the value of a lot of different types of art, and so therefore, he hopes that the person is going to be honest, right? And he just asks the person wanting to trade, like, how much? What do I price that at? Like, how much is it worth? Is what he's basically asking you,
Right. Okay.
Because he needs to know, as a dealer, he needs to know that, well, is it worth my time to pay my employee to pack that Mr. Miracle cover that I have up, spend the money to ship it to you, Hart, right? And then wait for you, to send me your piece.
Right.
Is it like, am I gaining anything out of that? That's kind of, he needs to know that. And that's the thing, right? So that's the first issue, is that he's not that familiar with the prices of a lot of different types of artists, especially pretty much anything from like the 90s onward, he's not that familiar. So that's the first problem. In terms of what you are getting frustrated about is, I don't know. It's tough. Like you want a yes or a no, but it's almost like I said, in this situation, since he doesn't know what the value of your piece is, he can't just say yes or no. That's why he's asking. He wants to know what your value is. And based on what you value your piece at, then I believe he probably would say yes or no, or maybe you'd have to throw something else in or whatever,
Right.
That's the problem as I see it in this specific case, is that since he doesn't know what yours is valued at, he has no clue, he can't give you a yes or no.
Well, I mean, I could just turn around and say it's worth $10,000, and would he trust me on that? I wouldn't trust me.
Right, but it's one of those things. I guess it comes down to, if it sounds outrageous, he probably would doubt you, right? But I'm sure if it sounded somewhere where it's like somewhere in that neighborhood of what you're trying to get from him, like if you said anything from like 4,500, what he's priced his piece at, 4,500 to 6,500. If you said anything in there, I'm sure, right? And if he likes the piece, there's a chance he might be like, okay, sounds good. I'll win. I'm already making money on the trade. I've just increased, right? I've made a paper profit of anywhere from up to $2,000 just on the trade, right? And so
So what I should have done, the way I'm hearing it, is I should have done homework and shown previous sales, maybe, of items that are comparable.
Well, that's up to you. I mean, I feel like as the collector, when I'm in your shoes, I hate when the I understand it more if it's a collector I'm contacting. But if I'm contacting to make a potential trade with a dealer who has been around for 30 years, then I'm not as patient. Like, I'm not willing to like go and do extra work to prove to them right? To prove to
Yeah.
them that what I'm
Right.
telling you is, oh, let me show you these comps or whatever. And like, why?
Right.
Like, you should know your shit. I'd rather not do it. It's just too much trouble.
Well, I
So
mean, that's a good point, because
yeah,
I think that Anthony, because his years, or Ramita Man, or Moy, or anybody that's been for a long period of time in the business, they should know somewhat the values of different things.
right,
But I can understand that they get so much stuff that they can't know everything.
right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not picking on Anthony. I'm not trying to
No, no,
make
no,
him look like a bad
no,
guy.
no.
I just want to know how I would have to approach it next time if I want to do a deal with a dealer rather than a collector. Because collecting or doing trades with collectors is a lot more easier, and it's more friendlier, in my opinion, because the dealers, in my opinion, want to be on the up. That's because it's their business. I can understand that. If your business is car sales, you want to be up on the cars. You want to do 200 cars a month, or whatever your numbers are. So for Anthony, I just never came across this before. So
Yeah.
I've done a trade with Moy, and that was, I have this, I want that. What do you want? And he told me exactly what he wanted. He didn't come up with this value. What's the value of my piece? He just said, I'm going to do it for this much. And I said yes or no to. And I said yes. And it was done. Whereas I didn't understand what Anthony was asking, because it was kind of like, shouldn't you know it kind of reaction for me.
Right. No, exactly. Right, exactly. No, I do wholeheartedly believe that if you're a dealer and you've been doing it for decades, I believe that's my opinion. I believe you got to know your shit.
Mhm.
Now, having said that, because as a customer, as a collector, right? Because I know those dealers well. Okay, I know their way of being, their personalities, their
Mhm.
character. Okay, I know how they are in business. So I tailor, when I have tried to trade with them, I tailor my trade offers differently for each person, knowing their own, personality quirks, and knowing their own, the things that, like we were just talking about, the fact that some of these guys don't really
Right.
know a lot about what the art that I'm offering them, right? So oftentimes what I'm saying is that when I used to, and I haven't done it in a long time, but what I used to do when I would contact people, and I can tell you as an example, Anthony is one example, Ramita Man another example. The way I used to approach them is I did do the work. I wouldn't go and fetch a whole bunch of examples like we were talking earlier, right? Like
Right.
comps or
Okay.
whatever. Forget that. What I mean by doing the work is I would say, so listen, I'm really interested in this, that, and the other from you. Would you be willing to give me those pieces if I trade you these pieces? And in doing that, I also tell them exactly. I give them a price range of what each piece is worth.
Okay.
You know,
Mhm.
so before they even have to, I don't. Why wait for them to ask me? Because I know that they don't
Okay.
know the values of a lot of the stuff, right? So I figure,
Okay.
why bother? Instead of waiting for you to get back to me and say, well, what's that stuff worth? I tell them right away. So I go, I want this. I'm willing to give you this. Um, this is the range they typically sell for, right? In this little tight range, each individual piece. But I also have to tell you, that being said, that when I approach dealers, okay, like those guys, I always offered them a substantial extra amount of value of my art. Okay, the value of my art was always a substantial value above the listed value of what I was what I was wanting to get from
Right.
them.
Okay.
Okay, so and that's because I know that that's not their collection, that's their inventory,
Right.
and therefore
No.
I know that they're not likely to want to do a one for one equal value trade from their
Mhm.
inventory, because of the fact that, well, their inventory is already there, scanned, it's already posted on their website. it doesn't really gain them anything to give you a $4,500 piece if what you are giving them is worth no more than $4,500. In fact, it's more work. You're just giving the dealer extra work to have to pack up.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's why to guys like Anthony and Mike Berkey, I would always like, okay, let's use that same value, $4,500. Okay. So if that's their list price, and let's say I know deep down it wouldn't sell unless it was for $3,500 to $3,750, let's say. Okay. Like a sellable, a true sellable value. I would then probably offer them up something that's in the range of 45 to 55 on the high end, but that they could probably sell for at least the 4,500 that they have priced, at their overpriced price.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in other words, I let them know. I would let them know in my communication immediately, in my first email. I would let them know, I'm giving you more value.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so you know, I understand it's business. You don't want to trade 2 nickels for a dime. So I'm offering you this much. It's worth this much. Your piece is worth this much. You're making this much on the trade if you do it. And that's how I approach that. Well,
I mean, with that statement, what if they take the deal that you give and they can't sell it at the price, and the next time you try to do a trade deal, they're going to come back at you and say you undercut me by giving me this thing that's not worth it. I mean, does that get handled? As how am I going to say it? It's like, is that the next time that they think that you're overpricing your stuff? I mean, does that make sense?
Can you rephrase it? Like in what scenario?
Okay, all right. So you said that you go 45 to 55 on your bid, right? On your price range for your item, right?
I mean, I'm giving you a ballpark, whatever, right? Like
ballpark. Yeah, that's what I'm using. I'm using the ballpark.
I always gave a certain chunk higher than
a little chunk up. Okay.
Yeah.
So they take it at that price, and they think that they made a discount as well, or a profit.
Yeah. Paper profit. Yeah.
It sits on their site for 6 months. Nothing happens. You come back with another trade that you want to do, and they remember you, obviously, because you did a trade with them.
Oh, you traded me that stuff. I haven't moved any of it.
Yeah. I haven't moved it, but but I've seen on Heritage, the dealer says, I've seen my piece sell for 3 times now, and you gave me a, lack of better word, junk to them because they lost profit in that.
Well, first of all, nobody needs to hold the dealer's hand. If they need their hand held, that's their fucking problem in the first place.
Oh, okay. Good point. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Second of all, I can say I can't, even in a hypothetical, it's hard to really answer it because it's never really happened to me. I mean, typically I do the trade. After I do the trade, I don't go to their websites and follow up like 6 months. Hey, let me see if they sold my stuff or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't follow up. I don't care. Right. Although having said that, I do know that most of the time, simply because when I used to peruse their websites looking for more art, I would come across some of my pieces that I had traded to them.
Yeah.
And I will say that most of the time they did price the stuff they got from me even higher than the range I gave them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing. So that even if they aren't selling some of those pieces they got from me, like they've never come back to me and said so. But even if that's the case, I mean, okay, but maybe it's because you look how much you priced it. I gave you this range and you put it even higher than that. So whatever. That's what I'm saying. That's once the deal's done, the deal's done. You're the dealer. You're supposed to be the professional who knows more than anybody, supposedly, right? I know it's not true, but that's what people think, right? So that's it. So, like I said, you can't be holding hands. Nobody's going to hold their hand. You make the offer, and if they ultimately go for it, that's it. The deal's done. You got your stuff. They got theirs. What happens after that, whether it's good or bad for you or for them or for both, that's like, who cares about that, right? It's not even an issue, right? It's
Rich has mentioned in the chat some interesting stuff, so you should take a look at what Rich is.
So I wanted to pop up Crazy Stanley, who's always wanting these things to go on forever. Keep the conversation going for it's 2.5 hours. Like, we need to cut this. Not that I want to, but nobody watches on Rewind a lot these days because my show is going too long. But
come back on Christmas.
But yeah, exactly. Come back next week, Stanley. Like Ruben said, they have a general idea of pricing. Exactly. If your value seems high, they will walk away. If it seems reasonable, they will take it further. See, Marcus talked about, saying, just say that you value it exactly the same as what you're trading for.
Yeah.
But I already said, I use the other approach. I find it's not worthwhile, because if it's a dealer, again, if it's a collector, that's what you expect collector to collect, right? Yeah. You want something, I got something, you got something I want. And, if you're going to do this, I'm assuming because you like what I'm offering you, right? So you try to find an even level playing field, right? Right. So that's for sure, that makes sense. But that doesn't apply to a dealer. And I've put my dealer hat on, because as a dealer, when people have offered me things like 1-for-1 equal value, I've always said, like, it's if what you want from me, it's my inventory, because it's on my website typically, right? What they're looking for, right. Back in the day when I was dealing full time, right? So they were looking at my website inventory and trying to get something from there, and they'd be offering me something that I was like, maybe I could get around the same price as what I have. Now, if what I have, and this goes to what we're up and Stain was saying here about maybe it's old stock. Okay, that's another little added layer, right? If it's something I've had for a long time, I'm likely to do an equal value deal, right? Even if it's for my inventory, simply because I'll swap out older inventory for something that'll be new to me on my
website. Refreshing the stuff.
Yeah. So maybe I've got a better chance of selling this piece than the one that's already been there a while, But if it's something that hasn't been there a long time, I never accepted 1-for-1 equal value deals, because I would always tell the guy, like, you have to understand, you're not getting something from it doesn't matter what you're getting from me, whether it's from my inventory or my collection. What matters to me on the approach is, what is the art that you're offering me in return? Is that going to be for my collection? Oh, I like that. Or is it just, I'll be taking it for my inventory, right? If it's for my inventory, then I always said no, because, equal value for equal value. Why would I do that? Only you are gaining in that sense, right? Because you're getting what you want, you're getting the piece you want, and me, I have to go pack up this art and ship it to you, wait for you to ship, your thing back to me, and then I got to scan your piece and put it, eventually post it up as part of my inventory, which, again, the piece you're already looking at getting from me, it's already up on my website, right? And as long as it hasn't been there for years, the work is already done. So an even value trade, when what I'm getting from you is just more inventory, it doesn't make sense, because it's just making more work for me.
Okay. Yeah. One question. What is a length of a time that you're talking about? Is it, if it's been on the website for more than 3 months, 6 months, 8 months?
No, I don't know. I mean,
in your opinion,
time, I don't really want to put a time on it, because there's no really set time. Yeah. Because sometimes a long time, if it was something that I thought, oh yeah, this is going to sell quick, man. Like, right? Sometimes you think you acquire some inventory and you're like, oh shit, on my next art drop, this baby is going to be one of the first pieces to sell, right? Within minutes, if not seconds. And when you have that 3 months later, it feels like, God, I've had this for a long. I can't believe nobody sold this. Like, I mean, we bought this, But if it was something that I didn't expect to sell immediately, and I thought it might take a while till the right buyer comes along, then it could be a year before I finally feel like, oh man, I've had that for a long time. Maybe I should try to move that or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I got you.
it depends. It really depends on what it is and how long, how long you've had it or whatever. And, but again, all these different little layers of things that sort of consider, again, collector to collector. But again, even collector to collector, you got to be offering me something that I really would want for my collection.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll do equal value trade. But oftentimes, my experience, unfortunately, collector to collector, so I'm talking about when somebody wants something from my comic art fan gallery. Okay, so not my website inventory, right? Now
it's Grummet stuff.
Yeah, but it's something that it's clearly not marked for sale. It's part of my collection, so I'm not looking to sell it. So you want something from my collection? Well, my view is what you're offering me better be something that I collect. You should look at what I collect. You should familiarize yourself with what I collect, and offer me something you think or that I would probably want. That's how I see it. Because why would I give away something that I collect for something that I don't really collect? Then I'm only doing you the favor,
Yeah, you're losing out.
Yeah, I'm just doing it as a favor for you if I do it, right? Yeah.
Thanks for the opinion and answering that, because this is the first time it's happened to me. So I wanted to kind of bounce it off of people. And actually, Rich has been giving some helpful hints here, because he even says that it's easier to trade in person.
Yes, and I'll get there in a second, but just to say the one that I posted on the screen, right? That's what I already addressed, right? Which is he understands another collector may be more open to a fairly even trade than a dealer, because there has to be a profit margin for the dealer. Otherwise, why would you do it, right?
Right, because it's a business for them. Yeah,
exactly. Then you tell them that they don't know how to sell it. Right. Like if they're complaining, if they would ever complain, hey man, your other stuff didn't really sell. Well, exactly. That's on you, right? Like that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Marcus, you and I are going to Anthony's booth next time. How's that?
Cash is always king if you want a dealer's piece at a slight discount. Yeah, exactly. Well, that goes with almost any business, right? Cash is always king. Everybody knows that. And then Marcus says that they only want what's hot and sellable. Well, typically, right? Like if you're going to go through the trouble of doing that, typically, obviously, if it's not for your collection, yes, you're going to go through that trouble only if you think it's going to be something that's going to be sellable, quickly sellable for you. Makes sense. And then Rich said, it's always good to know what pieces or artists a particular dealer would have interest in. Yeah, of course. And that goes a long way to a possible trade, naturally. Ian says, changed prices get better over time. Changed prices get better over time.
I think maybe if it's not selling, maybe.
Okay, you have to explain that one, Ian, maybe. It's always easier to trade with a dealer in person than through emails. That's true primarily because of their terrible inability to communicate well. But yeah, once you're there in front of your face, right? It certainly makes it a lot easier, But yeah, no, that's Caesar, what are you saying to me, man? I want the Superman blue red piece. Let's trade. I have Grummet art. You know what, Caesar, though? I gotta tell you, man, and this goes to everybody out there. You all need to know this because it pisses me off. I gotta tell you, man. I've had a few good luck making trades over the years, but not in decades. Like in the early 2000s, probably is the last time I can remember doing like a good trade. Most of the time, my experience has been the offers are terrible in the sense that most people don't even offer me what I collect. And when I think, okay, maybe, if he's offering me something good, maybe I'll use it for future inventory, whatever, so I'm willing to keep the potential open to doing a deal to help them out if it still benefits me in some way, if it's not as a collector, maybe as a dealer, whatever, but most of the time, you know what I get? And I'm sure a lot of you guys get this too. And this is like the worst. I hate, even worse than somebody saying, hey, I like this piece. Would you take this piece in return? And it's something that's worth like 1/10 of the value, right? Like that's already bad enough. But worse than that, I hate it when it's, hey, I really would like to get this piece. I don't have the money for it. I'd like to trade. can you spend 2 hours? They don't say those words, but that's basically what's going to have to happen. Can you spend 2 hours and go to my gallery and tell me if you can find something you'll like and to change to trade for this?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Oh God, I hate that. Oh my God. And it's like, I actually used to, because I used to think I don't want to do this, but who knows? Maybe they have something in there I can find, you know?
Right.
And if I don't look, I won't know. But then after doing that many times and finding nothing, I just finally was like, you know what? I'm never doing that again. I can't. I don't have 2 hours to spend looking. And okay, even if you only have 40 pieces in your gallery, it won't take me 2 hours. I get it. But why should I go through the trouble of having to find your gallery and look? What are the odds that you're gonna have something I collect and really want? You know, that's the thing. So for me, it's just
Ruben.
Yeah.
Do you use the want in CAF, the want list thing that they do on CAF, the want list?
No, I mean, I not realizing there was a want list feature. I ended up opening other gallery rooms for my Tom Grummett want list, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I still have a bunch of galleries that are more visible than the actual want list feature. Anyways, I can't say anybody's hit me up for it or whatever. I think it's one of those things though where they know that, oh, this guy's always calling out for that same stuff. Fuck him, like I'm not, I like that stuff. So if I find it, I want it for me. I guess it's kind of because of that, I might had one or two people maybe offer me something really minor, like some random, very sort of low value panel page from some random title Tom did or whatever.
Like Gunfire?
Huh?
Gunfire?
Gunfire?
DC Gunfire? Do you know that one?
That is that the DC title?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a Grummett one.
Oh, it isn't. Okay, I thought it was Grummett. It looked like it.
No, not to my knowledge. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I just see it all the time on eBay, so it's like,
yeah.
Anyway,
but anyways, but that's So that's my post. My point to what I'm saying. So Caesar, let me put this back up there. Caesar, I'm a Grummett guy, and I've said this before. I'm in some of my gallery rooms on CAF. I've written like almost not everything, but almost everything that's non-Grummett art. I would absolutely entertain trade offers. Like if anybody has Grummett that they think I would want more than whatever else that's non-Grummett that they like in my gallery, I would absolutely entertain it. The potential to, let's talk. What do you have? Show me what you have. The problem is most guys are like the ones that contact me, they either don't have anything that I'm into, right? Or they, like I said, they just want me to do all the work. Yeah, come and look at what I got. It's like, I don't want to look. I collect Grummett. That's the only thing I want is good quality Grummett. Like, and if you're talking about like a cover, let's say a cover, a splash, a double page splash, whatever, right? Well, you should understand that if you want to have even a decent chance of getting this piece from me, you should be offering me something that I collect. So let's say something by Tom Grummett, and also something similar. In other words, another cover in exchange, or another double page splash in exchange, or you know what I mean? Like for like is what they call it. Like it just, to me, it seems like it should be needless to say, but you apparently I have to say it because of all these wackos that literally think that I'm just going to go and pick some random $200 pages from their gallery and just trade, take like 10 or 20 of those in exchange for whatever $4,000 piece they're trying to get from me. Like, it's just bizarre, people.
Hey, Ruben.
Yeah.
Ruben, our motto should be we're too old for this shit. Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes I gotta say I'm too old for this shit. When they want me to go, I'm telling you, I've had guys. There's guys who have like literally thousands of pieces in their gallery. Thousands, not hundreds, thousands. I mean, it looks like they have hundreds, just gallery rooms, hundreds. And it's not like everyone just has one piece in it. Like, right? A lot of them have a lot of pieces. And I'm just like, I don't got time for this. What do you
like, no. So I've had to resort to saying, you know, when I get people, hey, you willing to trade? Or do you entertain trade offers? Right. And if they're not being specific about what they want to give me, I'm like, yeah, all the time. Sure. I collect Tom Grummett art, primarily Superboy, Superman, and New Titans. And so if you have any of that stuff and it's comparable to what you're trying to get from me, yeah, sure. I'm absolutely happy to trade. At least that way they know, like if they don't have that stuff, they just go away, you know? So, Caesar says he's only traded 3 times in my collecting years. Yeah, I mean, I know guys who have been around as long as you, Caesar, who have never traded, believe it or not. So, yeah, it happens, you know. And Ian answered. He was yes, he was saying okay about not selling. Oh yeah. So change prices get better over time. Right. Yeah.
Until the heritage auction happens.
Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. Well, but I can't blame people for that because that's, oh shit, look at that. You know, people often think that, oh, it's been on a dealer site for a long time, hasn't sold. That means, oh, it's overpriced. That's not actually a truth. It can be true, yes, but it's not an absolute truth. There is so much art in the hobby, and there are so many dealer sites in existence. I believe every piece has the right customer for it. In many cases, you know, there's a lot of pieces that have many potential customers for it, right? But some lower demand stuff may only have 1 or 2 right people for it. If that person doesn't find you, if they're not aware of your website, that's a good reason why you may be stuck with that piece for years, right? It doesn't mean it's not worth the value that you have it priced for. It's just oftentimes that's what it is. It's just the right person. There's somebody out there who would buy it, but you have to connect, and sometimes you just don't make that connection, you know. And Rich says, I'm still trying to figure out what Ruben would want for his Elementals cover.
I've been after Elementals art since I started collecting, and I have never seen it. Never. Other than in CAF, a few people, and that's...
Yeah, there haven't been that many pages. Yeah. Or covers.
And I don't want the heroes. You know, I don't want the heroes. I actually like the rat guy, or, you know, the agent, the FBI agent or whatever. He's got like a Magnum. It's like, it's a stupid page, right? It's just, you know.
I get you. Yeah, for sure. Good evening to you, Nunya, by the way. Nunya Business, I guess, is what you're trying to go for. It's crazy. I'm like, oh my God, now we're going to hit the 3-hour mark. And it's like, we're like two viewers or 1 viewer from the peak amount of viewers we've had. So we're getting longer. We're getting close to one of my longest episodes ever. And yet for some reason, everybody's still here. You know what it is? I think a lot of
it's the van.
All our friends who are here, who are most of them are regulars. They come because they know they have a good time, whatever, they enjoy it. But it's those people that watch only on Rewind. It's not the same, I guess, right? It's obviously you don't get the camaraderie because you're watching it after everybody said what they said, right? But I guess that's probably why you know the live viewership sort of remains even when we do go so long. And unfortunately, it's those Rewind people I suffer from those guys. They're the ones who end up not wanting to watch because they're like, wow, another almost 3-hour episode or whatever, you know. But I thank you for being here, Nunya. And Caesar, you did say Grummett art. We can talk. I don't remember what you have. Make me some offers. I don't know. Email me, compadre. Oye, como va? Oh yeah, baby. I can feel, and you know what? By the way, I can feel maybe a potential Grummett deal happening. I wish you would have mentioned this earlier, Caesar, because then we could have done if we did a trade, I would have had an extra package to open up on my Christmas show next week, man. Okay. Nunya says, only traded once. Easier to buy and sell through my one trade landed me something I really want. Okay, fantastic. Congratulations on getting that one trade to work out for you. So that's cool.
Can we ask Nunya how long he's been collecting? Or yes, she has been?
You just did. Nunya, how long have you been collecting? Oh, okay. So maybe that's why you thought Gunfire was a Tom Grummett series, because Caesar says that the 0 cover is Tom Grummett.
Yeah. Okay. So
I
yeah.
remember.
Okay.
I just remember the title. I don't remember even what the thing looks like. So I would have to say, Caesar,
It's
I have
bad.
zero interest in trading that Superman art for your zero cover to Gunfire. But thank you for the offer.
One day there'll be a movie.
And that's another thing I get, Hart. I get a lot of guys who purposely offer me something they damn well know is not comparable in terms
They're
of
fucking with
interest,
you.
character, popularity, things like that. Yeah, they damn well know they want to give me their crap so they can take something better in return. But there you go, Caesar. My answer is no. Although now I'm curious. I do want to see it. If it's in your gallery, I want to see what that is. I'm probably familiar with it and I've just forgotten. So I don't know. Ian says, I love being flexible in my collecting. Never puts me in a difficult place. I love it if it looks good. Have a preference, but many other loved as well. That's well said, my friend. That's how it should be.
Nice, Ian. Yeah.
Yes, Marcus is right too. If anybody has Romita Senior Tudong art, it's always top of my list aside from Grummett. So anybody has that? It's very rare.
Is that like the big schlong?
It's like
Yiddish.
The dong is a schlong, right? So it's
right, or a putz.
It's yes. So connected to that. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
We are. Okay. David says we are. Wait, are we collectively saying Grummett is smooth to work with? I don't know if anybody said anything about working with Tom. So I would say no. And Mickey, maybe one of the wildest galleries of 1,000+ pieces. Oh, Mickey's got a great collection, though. I love his stuff. And Mike says, and those are the guys that always have a sold folder with 500 pieces in it. So you can't even look at the most viewed list of their gallery. Oh, can you do that? You can go to people's individual galleries and see what's been most viewed. I thought that was
you can.
I thought that was only you yourself can do that for your gallery. You can see what your most viewed pieces are. I didn't think
you could do it as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere close to their name, above their name or something like that.
Look at Stanley. What a psycho. This guy's such a psycho. Set a record time, showtime, please.
You've been paying Stanley way too much.
Stanley, every time I do these shows that hit 3 hours, I'm like I said, my rewind watchers get all pissed off, and I end up getting 180 views instead of like 300 or 400 or whatever. No, we're gonna have to definitely call it very, very shortly. But I don't want to miss your comments here. Yeah, even number one Marvel fan, keep it going. No, this is getting crazy. It's getting out of hand. My first concert.
Nanya says since 2009.
Rich, oh my God, that's so crazy, Rich. I don't know if maybe I've told, we might have talked about this. I'm not sure, Rich, because my best friend at the time, literally in 1986, okay. So I barely had money for my comics at the time. He got a job at the store before I did. I did get a job that year, but not before he did. And we would go to the cons together, the local conventions. And that year we had Bill Willingham at the local as our guest at the local convention. My friend had money, I didn't, so he was gonna get a sketch, because he was sketching at the con. I think they were $10 or $15. And he's like, and my friend was like, "Whoa, what should I get? What should I get? What do you think I should get?" I'm like, "Fuck, it's Bill Willingham. Obviously, you got to get Elementals, And I'm like, "Yeah, but he's like, I don't have money to pay for the whole team or whatever, So I'm like, what character do we get? I was like, "Oh, get Ratman. Just, I don't know why. We liked him. He just seemed like a cool villain or whatever, and he got it. So that's what he has to this day. He still has it. And so funny that same year, same character, you and he got the same thing. That's wild, man. That's a funny story.
Hey, Ruben.
Yeah.
Ruben, I would have picked for a sketch anything TSR related, Dungeons and Dragons. That would have been my pick.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't, only because sure, we were aware of those advertisements and that he was the guy doing some of them. Yeah. but I wouldn't have done that because, first of all, my friend and I, neither of us were D&D fans, and we didn't play it. And also, I got to be honest, I don't know if you've looked at it since you were a kid, but those Billingham ads, the artwork was absolute shit.
But the interior of the modules were better.
Oh, see, I didn't see that stuff. So I'll take your word.
Those are, He did spot illustrations for interiors. So did Jeff D. and so did Rosloff and all these other guys.
Okay. That's so funny. This is my friend, Mike Curtin from Toronto. He was part of my my first episode of Comic Art Roundtable with my Canadian friends. What's up, buddy? Holy shit. He just doesn't know how to change his name. That is so funny. Nanya, you're too funny, bro. Oh my God. Since 2009 and you don't know how to change it, man. I don't know, man. Click your avatar like in the top corner or whatever. I'm sure it's something somewhere in there. It can't be that hard. Caesar is saying, no, it's because the Redskins Giants game is boring. Oh, that's why everybody wants it. Oh man, this is a crap game. Tell Ruben to hurry it up. Yeah. I mean, sorry, to keep it going. Keep it going. That is so funny. Mike also says, if it's Nunya from CAF, they have an awesome collection. No, I know there's a guy on CAF that's Nunya. No. Mike on CAF is and not you, Mike, NSN Art, but Mike, this Nunya Mike, he goes by his actual name on CAF. So, and what are you telling me now, Caesar? It's not by Grummet. It's not by Grummet. Stop making fun of Gunfire. You see, okay. So first of all, I just want to say I'm happy that my memory is not that bad that I do, I didn't remember him ever doing anything related to Gunfire. I would like to think I would have remembered him doing something like that. And who's the artist? Who is the artist? And secondly, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying, Gunfire. Like, what the hell is that? Gunfire, I'm
making fun of it because I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, and the fact that you want like this killer original art, like for two large posters, advertising whatever posters, and you're telling me you want to trade me a Gunfire cover, and it's not even, and I wouldn't even consider it if it was by Grummet, but you're telling me it's not even Grummet. It's even worse. What an offer you're making, man. Oh my God. That's too funny.
Caesar, you're losing out.
That is so funny. And Mike confirms, yes, most viewed, commented, most liked. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Sorry. Who knew? I guess you guys knew. Grummet Art signed to Dong. We get, see, here we go with the dongs again. We get Ruben's attention. There you go. Imagine that. Both. I get two, double whammy, 2-in-1 shot. Super short video next week. Well, it may be, right? So maybe that'll make up for it. I'll to tell you, Rewind watchers, if you Rewind watchers who are probably obviously not watching 3 hours,
sick and tired, yeah.
You could have, well, they may, a lot of them fast forward through it. So if you're hearing this, please know, Rewind people, that let me just go here and do that one more time. I'll be here next week. I'll be opening a few gifts live on air. And but that means it's not like a regular episode. Okay, so because it's not a regular episode, I will be doing guaranteed opening a few gifts. That's gifts that I bought for myself. So I'll be doing that. Beyond that, I can't guarantee that, that I'll stay broadcasting. That'll all depend on, if anybody's like me and not really doing anything Christmas night, and if they come in and they want to chat or whatever about whatever, then yeah, I will stick around. Otherwise, we'll call it a night pretty quick after opening the gifts. So we will see. So, but yeah, tune in at 8:00 because I'm assuming I'll be doing the gift opening thing within a few minutes after I go live at 8:00, 5:00 Pacific. That is at 8:00 Eastern. So let me now. Sorry, everyone. Let me come back to you and come back to the.
Your wife is going to sleep. Vivian's going to sleep.
Did she put her requisite? Where is it? Where is it? All right, bye, honey. Good night.
She got tired of me cursing.
Thanks always for the support. And Nanya, Mike says, "Hey, buddy, up late on a Sunday." Clearly. And yes, you better get on it, man. Change it to your name.
So what's Nanya's real name on CAF?
Mike Curtin, Kirton.
All right, check it out, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you could see, if you go to my my playlist for roundtables, comic art roundtables, it's the first episode.
Right.
If you just go to that and go into the description, like I always have, everybody's, you know, you'll see Mike's link to his calf there, you know. So
I'm
same
on
thing,
it right now.
same thing for Hart. So Hart's link to his.
My stuff sucks.
Yeah, I don't know if it sucks, but you don't really have anything in there right now. That's my problem with it right now, right? So you don't.
Yeah.
You know, but
I don't have a scanner. I'm using Caesar's phone.
Oh, there you go. So you look at that. Nanya, Mike has long admired NSN Arts Gallery. So there you go. Thank you. And okay, time to go into Anthony's site to look for Alex Toth Van Doodles. Nice. When I first got con sketches, I used to ask for more obscure characters. I thought artists would get bored drawing. Yeah, same. Okay, he's talking because of the whole Ratman thing, right? Yeah. Same characters all the time. Yeah, it makes sense. Most artists hate drawing familiar characters. That's true too. Yeah, that's true too. And Caesar, thank
Irwin.
you.
Okay, Irwin. All right, got it.
Yeah, Steve Irwin. Yeah, that's something that I wouldn't mind have. That's, you know, as I've been getting priced out of everything else, I thought, you know what, maybe I'll collect some Steve Irwin checkmate pages. But even that shit's like nowhere to be found. It's like, what the hell is I can't.
I've got one if you want it. No, just kidding.
Nice. I appreciate that. Thank you. I was about to get excited. Not really.
No. I do have one. I'm just I was.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
At the same time.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I did a quick story. I did commission Irwin to do a cover style checkmate cover. He started it. He took 6 months, and then he showed me a sketch, and nothing else happened. So
wow. You never.
Yeah, I didn't pay him though. I never paid him.
Okay. At least it was one of those that you didn't have to wait. You know, you lose.
But he disappeared on me. Yeah.
Yeah, and the answer, Rich, is it's whoever you want him to be. It's if you think that's him, it may be. It may or may not be. I'm not going to swear to it either way. Stanley, there will be no cosplay next show. I can't imagine there would be any.
Don't
cosplay.
Say never.
Well, I'd like to say never, and that's true. Yeah, I didn't want to say it though, Marcus. I didn't want to say it because there's nothing else for me to collect that's affordable, and so yes, that's my favorite like villain at DC, other than Cyborg Superman, right? So yeah, I'd like to get that too. I just didn't want to mention it because then, you know, people might be like, "Ooh, yeah, Deathstroke. Oh yeah, right. Maybe that's something I should look into." You know, but truthfully, even that stuff, you would think, like, you know, the series lasted quite long, several years. You would think that stuff would be like all over the place. It's not. You know.
Have a good night, Rich.
It's weird. Rich, great show. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for dropping in tonight, and thanks for participating as always. A good buddy. Thanks, man. I hope you come and visit us a little more often when you can. Appreciate it, man. So with that, Hart, I think we've gone past 3 hours. We should call it.
We should stop.
Yeah. So thank you again, everybody. Really, really appreciate it. And yes, trade me your Deathstroke Irwins. Although I don't know that I want. I'd rather pay cash for that. I don't know that I have stuff I'm willing to give up in trade for it. Although if it was covers, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Thank you so much to all of you who stuck around this long. I apologize to you Rewind watchers who don't like them to go so long. But I'll be honest, as much as I love and appreciate you Rewind watchers, I appreciate these friends who are able to come in and make the time. I know a lot of you Rewind guys just can't do it. So I don't hold that against you, obviously. You do what you can, and I understand. So I appreciate you. But at the same time, for me, I decided to do this whole channel YouTube thing because of the fun. It's fun. Or at least I hoped it would be fun. And all my friends who show up every week after week, and they're the ones who make this as fun as it is for me, certainly. So therefore, it's doing the live portion of the show, the actual live stream. That's the funnest part for me. And so therefore, I extra special thanks to you guys always for being here. And yes, Stevie B, good to see you, sir. Happy holidays to you as well. I'm going live, by the way, on Christmas night. Not to say that you should tune in, just to let you know, I'm gonna tune in just to see if anybody else shows up. So thank you, David, appreciate it. Oh, and Stevie says, actually, had you guys on in the background? Oh, really? While you decorated the tree? That's cool. It was your show or White Christmas. Thanks for degrading the gunfire. Oh, I did not, man. I did not.
That was me, Steve. That was me.
Yeah. Blame it on him.
Yeah, it's me. All me.
Yeah. Hey,
don't take it out on Ruben.
That ain't my fault, man. David in Oz, all the way from Oz. Hilarious, entertaining, and informative show. Thank you, Ruben Hart. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. For you are as responsible, David, as everybody else who I see here every week, for bringing the joy to me as well. If it's not for you guys, I probably would have stopped doing this after the first few weeks, right? Like if nobody would show up, I mean, I'm not on here because I just want to pretend I'm on television or whatever, it's a great way for me to get together with friends in this hobby on a regular basis. We touch base, and just have some laughs. That's really the best part of it. And hopefully have some, scintillating and exciting conversation from time to time as well, That's really what it's all about for me. So really, really appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Easy Go Lucky. As always, thank you,
thanks,
sir.
Guys.
Thank you, Ian, to you as well. Thank you to everybody. I'm sorry if I missed any of you on some messages. Really, I do apologize if I've done that. All my Christmas want list I sent was for art books. Yeah, man, they're the collectors. That's what we do, right? Appreciate it. Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. And thanks again for being my guest a couple of weeks back, man. That was a great show too. Everybody check that out if you haven't watched it. That was fun. Scotty in the house. How come you keep tuning in late when my shows are over and telling me it was a great show? To me, I get the feeling like you just showed up late and you're pretending you were here all along. You usually will let me know that you're here by commenting. But anyways, I'm yanking your chain as always. Aloha to you, my friend. Thank you as always. I appreciate you. And yes, banished to the van. A lot of people coming in late don't know what the fuck we're talking. We're like, what? Van? What?
There's a box of panties and a van.
Might need you next week after a day spent with the outlaws. I mean, the in-laws. That's awesome, Stevie. I appreciate you, bud. Thanks, man. I like I said, I'm yanking your chain. David. I appreciate you. But you should say hi. I didn't notice you. Maybe you did say hi and I missed it. But yeah, you'll comment more. Silent mode. Okay, there you go. Need a scrawny son to be fair. I would love to have a scrawny son. And I believe I've asked him and he said, yeah, not really into it. They're too shy or whatever. And X-Men. Okay, what's up, bro? Okay, so thank you guys again. And again, we'll be here. I will be here at the usual 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Next Sunday, yes, the 25th, Christmas night. And I'll sign off with the reminder here, I guess. Let me put it up here.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. And here you go. And I will see you, hopefully one or two of you, next week. Thank you. Good night, guys. Oh, and Merry Christmas, of course, to the Happy Hanukkah, first of all. Again, Happy Hanukkah to those of you who are of the Jewish faith. And Merry Christmas to those of you most of you who I will not see next Sunday. Have a great, safe time with your family and friends. And I hope you all get some nice gifts for yourselves. Bye, guys.